Welcome to the latest episode of Platform Podcast. Today's guest is Heath Burley.
Fuck your life, bing bong.
If you've seen either of Anthony Medina's last two full-length videos, Candy or Ends, Heath Burley has sections in those, and the big man can handle himself on blades, and he skates some really nasty spots. In fact, in one of them, he's skating off a roof that is just covered in barbed wire and jumps off it. I also love how Heath is more accident prone than me. He's one of these people that just the worst case scenario happens, it will happen to him. If he's climbing up onto a roof and the last thing you want is to fall off the roof while you're climbing off it, Heath will fall off that roof.
You okay?
If you're staying at the top of a roof and looking down and you're like, please don't let me land on my tailbone, Heath will land on his tailbone. He is the king of slams. But he gets back up and laces it. More recently, people will be more familiar with Heath because of Jumbo and just how popular it's become in the rollerblading community. It is one of my absolute favourite things to watch. I look forward to every new episode coming out, and one of my favourite things about Jumbo is Heath.
Howdy, welcome back to Jumbo.
He just seems like a lot of fun to hang out with. He makes rollerblading look really enjoyable. He looks like the kind of person that you would want to be on a session with. And recently I was really fortunate to hang about with him at Winterclash. On the Friday evening, me and my friend went to a famous rollerblading pub called the Tipsy Duck, which everyone visits when they go to Winterclash. And Heath and Caleb were there, and it wasn't too busy, so we propped up the bar for the whole night, got really drunk, danced to ska music and slow dance to country and western music, and it ended up with me trying to kick myself in the head at 4 a.m. So I would say, all in all, a good night. I want to talk to Heath about Winterclash. I want to talk to them about the Barcelona trip that they had afterwards. I want to talk about the kind of success of Jumbo and how popular it's been, and the fact that just loads of people were coming up to him at Area 51 and wanted to talk to him and say hi. In addition to that, I want to talk about his DIY projects because he's responsible for 2 in Austin. He made the Dog Pound, and I think he made Candyland as well, or he helped build it. I want to talk about his life outside of skating, what he gets up to and his passions. I want to find out about his bugbears about rollerblading. He's also really passionate about Mesmer, so I want to talk about that. Anything that kind of he likes or dislikes about skating. Basically just find out as much as possible about him. Really enjoyed hanging out and talking to him at Eindhoven. Really looking forward to speaking to him now. Before all that though, cue the music.
Were you there?
Technical issues resolved.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up.
What is that noise?
Oh, dude, dude, we're all about TV, bro. Laugh tracks. Party. Anyway, I never zoomed before. Do I look at the camera, look at you, or I don't know how to do this?
You look wherever you want to look.
Cool. Let's get all fucking weird and start looking off in the distance and shit.
Let's do it. Well, I thought we'd just get naked and just flirt.
You should have been in Port A about last weekend. Anyway, let's go on. What do we want to talk about?
Forgot about that. I totally. Yeah, definitely going to talk about that at some point. Yeah, I saw you guys were having your like spring break or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, man, it's been like a month of just like fucking party.
I was about to say, yeah, so you just got back from basically your middle class European vacation, and then it looked like you got back and just went straight out partying again for a weekend.
I'm like still smiling from it. I have to like kind of calm down. Fuck, man. First of all, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
It's all good.
Yeah, you kind of caught me on the tailwinds of like tail end of just like a long month. It's like Winterclash, Barcelona, go back to Amsterdam, come home, Krill Brandon's bachelor party. Then we had South by Southwest for a week, and then that just ended. So here we are. We're fucking doing it.
So that's what you were doing. So when you were away with like Aunt Medina and those guys, and you were on the back of the truck and at the skate park and stuff, that was for Kirill's bachelor party, or was that something different?
Yeah, that was for Krill's bachelor party.
Right.
Yeah, it got a little crazy. We went down to what we call the Redneck Riviera.
Okay.
It's called Port Aransas, Texas, about 4 hours away, kind of like southeast of San Antonio. And when you think like American beach towns like California, it is the antithesis. It is the complete opposite.
In what way?
I think of sunny Southern California, Huntington Beach, Costa Mesa. Everything's like real nice and polished. Everyone's rich, got money. Man, this is just like hole in the wall, redneck, beachfront party town. You can live there for less than $1,000 a month in rent and just be beach bumming it like a motherfucker. Like,
So is that like a bad thing, as in it's rough as shit, or as in it's a lot of fun?
Awesome.
Right.
It's
okay.
awesome. It's
okay.
a lot of fun. They actually have like probably my favorite skate park in Texas, at least bowl wise.
Right.
I'm on my whole New Year's what do you call it, resolution is no skate parks in the greater Austin area till 2025 unless I help build them. But
okay.
But,
you don't really strike me as a skate park skater anyway.
Nah, dude, I don't know how to skate a skate park. I can't do anything at a skate park. Like I'll go find the thing that sends you out of the skate park. But
yeah.
But yeah.
All right.
So what's up?
So what were I want to know some stories about this weekend. What kind of fun stuff happened at the weekend?
We went fishing. That's pretty fucking sick, you know.
I mean, you looked
fishing
in every video I saw on either your Instagram or Aunt Medina's Instagram. You just looked drunk.
Oh no, I was hyping it up for Krill. Like I was, I'm in the back of the truck, they're kidnapping me. No, man, honestly, that was like I was so dead after Barcelona Winterclash. Krill invited us to go, and a lot of us were like, fuck, like, are we gonna have like the money or the time? And like we just got off this long trip that just really kind of took a toll on us. And I said, screw it. I hopped in the car with Ant and Sully, and we went down there and kind of tore it up. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was chill. It was pretty chill. And even when it being chill, I think Caleb and I were still probably the wildest dudes there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's been a crazy month, man. Like honestly, Krill's bachelor party was probably like the lull in like the kind of the ride, because like South by Southwest comes in and like 500,000 people come to town, and it completely kind of just shuts everything down. Yeah. So
who did you go and see at South by Southwest?
I mean, I have allergies like a motherfucker since we got back from Europe. I honestly should get like a tissue. I didn't really go do anything. I'm at my buddy's place right now. First of all, we're in his little poker room. Shit, actually, let me close the door real quick. Sorry, I'm at my buddy's place.
I was wondering about the wall art and the stuff on the roof. I was thinking it looks quite random.
Well, I'm in a secret back little poker room.
Right.
Okay. It has like a secret door, but the door's not closing right now. So hopefully no one walks through and it's a little loud. But honestly, like Krill's thing was kind of like the lull. So like we got back for South by, I don't really like in my past, like I worked at a lot of the venues in town, like really big in like Austin music and Austin culture, obviously, you know, got my Dillo boys. But I'm at my buddy's place right now. He's next door to one of the music venues that I hang out a lot at. And we saw the Spits, and it was like kind of outside of the neighborhood, outside of like from downtown. So That was pretty chill. I don't know if you guys know the Spits are.
I don't know.
They've been like a bunch of like 4x4 rat tail videos, like Yon Welch.
Oh, right, then I will.
I think
Okay.
Stefan's used them pretty recently. It's the shitty version of the Ramones. Other than that, I think like Zach Gutweiler and I just kind of like bopped around and went to like a couple of skate punk bars and just kind of like watched whatever was there, but really wasn't any different than any other time going to the bar. Really. So
Just a lot more people. Okay.
yeah, just a lot. Well, it's also a little different. We can go down the political rabbit hole if you want, but a lot of musicians like kind of boycotted South by just because the whole Israel, Gaza, Palestine conflict, because a lot of South by is funded by a lot of apparently a lot of military contractors. So a lot of people weren't having that, so they kind of said deuce. So a lot of the bands I kind of heard about, I didn't really do my homework. They were kind of like, yeah, not this year. So we don't need to go down that rabbit hole or whatever. But
Yeah.
that was kind of the thing. And fucking fuck corporate America. Good on them. Cheers to that.
Yeah. So exactly, how much debt are you in after all this? So basically, you were in
Yeah,
in
come on,
Eindhoven,
bro. Jumbo's
Barcelona,
my full-time job, dude. Jumbo's made us rich. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, everybody. I'm making 6 figures this year.
Yeah.
We're the richest people in rollerblading.
Yeah.
We're crushing it. So there ain't no debt, baby.
And influencers in the world. Hashtag blessed. And yeah.
Exactly.
We'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors, our paid posts, and our endorsements.
Yeah, unfollow, dislike, and unsubscribe. It was kind of a lot, but I kind of made sure to like budget ahead of time. I kind of knew what I was kind of in for money wise. It was actually my first trip to Europe, but got a lot of people that homie me, and I did my homework, and I know when to be frugal, and I know when to go see David at the bar and buy some fucking beers. So.
Right. So
yeah, man, it was pretty chill. Like honestly, we can go in the whole trip, but honestly, most money I spent was just on good food more than anything. So
okay. So obviously that was your first time at Winterclash. I know that Michael had been before, but I think everyone else, it was their first time. Like, I don't think it's like any other competition I've ever been to, and that's the reason why I keep going to it. If it was just like a standard event, I probably wouldn't go, because skate competitions don't really interest me that much, especially like the competition part. So I'm curious to know about like with you going for like your first time, like what was your impression of it? Because it is quite it's quite random.
Well, it's kind of like what are your intentions going into it? We knew we were going to go to Barcelona and skate afterwards. Mick wanted to skate. Unfortunately, he got broke off playing around with Levy on some picnic tables and broke his back, spinal. But Mick was like the one guy who actually kind of wanted to skate the comp. The rest of us knew we were going to go to Barcelona. So like I put my skates on. We don't have indoor wooden parks. God forbid if we do. I mean, the only one in Texas, and mind you, Texas is bigger than France. The only indoor skate park we have has concrete floors. So as far as like a completely wooden park,
I was going to say, is that the one
completely foreign? I can't think. It's outside of Woodward.
You guys have got one that they had a competition at that Chad Hornish like stalled the roof.
Yeah, that doesn't count. Dude, that's like an outdoor wooden park that has an awning over it.
Right.
But the floor is concrete. Okay. So a full wood park is completely foreign to us. Shit, where are we going here? I guess like Mick went in the intention of skating and the rest of us didn't. So second day I was like, all right, I'll put my skates on. I went to go that big bowl in the back, and they say big bowl, it's not that big, but I went to go just drop in, and man, I had brand new wheels on and went around the corner, and I just started to slip out, and I go, fuck this shit. And the next thing I know, 15 minutes later, Cody comes up, his head's all bleeding, slipped out in the bowl, and I'm like, yeah, we just shouldn't do this, especially if we're about to go to Barcelona and skate. We kind of have like an agenda. And, honestly, like, sucks Mick got hurt, but he was the only one that kind of was thinking about competing. And I honestly suggested the boys next time if we go, maybe like we go skate, make a little trip before Winterclash, and then whoever is like kind of still surviving, still kicking, then compete. You know what I mean? Like, because I think even like I guess Dom got hurt. I guess he couldn't really skate on their trip. You know what I mean? But they're on a different level. They're doing different shit. But the whole mentality of like not really killing yourself with the comp before you're about to go film whatever it is you're about to film.
Yeah, that's I think even like obviously like Jumbo's not like like serious brand thing like team like whoa like pro skaters like
Oh,
going
we're
like,
fucking serious,
but like you know what I mean, like with teams they always have that thing. They're like, do we plan for the competition at the start of the trip when everyone's fresh and maybe has a chance to like place, but then can get broke off and we can't actually film afterwards, or do we film first and then everyone's just destroyed and can't even compete?
Well, true, but also like on the contrary though, like if you're at that level, like say you're doing the Rossi's thing in Barcelona, or like everybody goes to Barcelona afterwards, or they'll take other trips sometimes. I guess Mesro went to Portugal or whatever. But those post comp trips, like that tends to be the standard, and we think I'm sure people have done pre comp trips, right? But on the contrary, it's like if you're at that pro level and you just filmed like a fucking fire section in like a week, and you didn't get hurt, you're probably pretty fucking motivated to go really send it. You know what I mean? Especially if you're at that top tier skating level, like, that might put a fire in your ass you might have not had before, where, the whole winter clash could be completely different. It could be a completely different outcome based on just, say, I don't want to go on a tangent, but like say X Pro just came off this like week-long filming adventure. They're just killed it, didn't get hurt. They're all motivated. Then say their competition or their stiffest competition is, tiptoeing because they don't want to get hurt because they're about to go on a week-long tour. Well, so it can go a lot of different ways.
Or what if you're just Julian Cadeau and you feel constantly invincible and you just think, I'm probably going to get top 3. In fact, if I stay on my feet, there's a good chance I'm probably going to win.
Anyone who thinks anything other than that is going to happen is just naive. So once again, it's Julian's world. We're just living in it.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. When I saw Cody on the Saturday with his face all messed up, I was like, what the hell were you doing last night? I was like, you weren't even at the bar with us. So how could that have happened? And then when he said what happened, and I was like, you did that on a Royale on coping. I was like, that's not meant to happen.
I mean, dude, he's like from literally the middle of nowhere. I'm like from somewhat civilization, like, and we still didn't have skate parks. So like I told him, I was like, hey, be careful, man. It's pretty slippery. I'm outside hanging out with the boys, and I just see him coming up just bleeding everywhere. I was like, we'll get you. He's like, yeah, man, it's pretty slippery. I'm like, I feel like you almost need like face wheels to skate in a park like that or something, something real grippy. Also, do they power wash that thing? Do they mop it ahead of time? Like,
but bear in mind, everyone's probably waxed the coping, so the wax will have like
for sure,
bits of it will have got onto the transition, and then everyone's waxy wheels, like wax stained wheels, will have got on all the wood, and it's just made it into an ice rink. Yeah,
and I mean, this is part of like culture shock. It's like a skating culture shock is like, fuck, even my buddy before is like, dude, you got to skate the skate park. You've never skated a skate park that's completely wood. And I was like, damn, he's right. That sounds really tight. And then I get there and I'm like, fuck, this sucks. Is there like some shitty roof with razor wire I can jump off of or something?
It's really hectic. Like I'm comfortable skating in most conditions, but see when you're standing next to an obstacle and every time you're about to go, someone goes in front of you and you're like, I'm never going to get a shot. Like, and it's really hectic.
Dude. And that's the thing is like you can get broke off not from skating. It's just like for instance, like a blading cup one time we're at the Negretti session and like I'm trying to like disaster over some rail to like a ledge and I'm having to cook, right? I'm trying to get in, the car's about to leave. Like you get one more try. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go real fast. And I go to jump in and then out of the corner of my eye, I see some guy who just isn't really paying attention. I try to cut to get out of his way before I got to the bottom of the transition. And even that concrete of that skate park is so like worn in, California skate parks are pretty slippery. Even then I slipped out, boom, just pancake, just from trying to avoid somebody. So God forbid it was on a park like that, you know. Hell, I think I showed you the video of Mick crashing into a child.
I saw that. Yeah, there was the one where Mick Cassell's basically slammed into the kid, both at the bottom of the transition. Then there was the one where Mick almost stalled on a woman's face on the wall
shit,
ride.
I forgot about that.
He went for the wall ride, and
Whoa,
just before he like left the transition, she
yeah.
just kind of appeared in front of him, and I was like, that was too close.
Oh, and that's the thing too. Like we're talking about like trying to skate a park and avoid people. Not only are you trying to skate a park and avoid people, this fool's trying to launch out into the crowd and do a wall ride. It's like, come on, man, stay in like the city limits over here. I don't know what to tell you. Like you're trying to go out the county. I don't know. Like
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, like there was every time I looked over at you guys, there was someone coming up to like introduce themselves or say hello, and I'm assuming the compliments were flying left, right, and center. Like I'm assuming a lot of people came over and wanted to like either say how much they enjoyed Jumbo or like compliment you guys on that. What was that like? Because Caleb told me that people were being so nice to you that weekend that you almost cried.
did cry, dude, like multiple times. I called my girlfriend. I was like, I don't understand. Like, fuck yeah. I mean, like everyone watching, thank you guys. Like this is our silly little joke, you know? Like, and like Cody kind of always had this idea years before, and I know he explained the whole deal in your podcast before. But even before, like, I don't know if you ever heard the come down. Even before, like with like Fugi and all that, like I remember talking to Frank Stoner and Jay like 15 years ago, like, yeah, I kind of want to have this idea, but I don't know how to like embody it or blah blah blah, you know. And it like Cody kind of figured out the formula, and it kind of came organically, you know. And it's like all our friends are pretty good in one way or another. Everyone skates a little different, and you know, you see certain things where like, you know, if you want to identify with like a brand, you know, like I want to look like the guys in them, you know, dress like that, or I like Gods or Mesmer or whatever. Like that's cool. You identify with a brand, but like we're like a pack of just goofballs, you know, and all of us are different. We all skate completely different shit. Like Gutweiler and Michael, completely two different, you know, things, but we all skate together. And like the way I look at it, it's like we just try to embody friendship in like a group of just boys that we've been, well, I shouldn't say boys, but homies, because, you know, everyone's welcome. But, you know, that's kind of like the traveling circus, you know, and like we just kind of just documenting the good times. And I think a lot of people that resonates with them. And I didn't realize how much it did until I got to Winterclash. So it was a little overwhelming to have just like our silly little videos have that much impact, you know? And I'm just like, I didn't realize that like it had that gravity or weight to it, you know? Like,
That is what I was kind of wondering, like because
yeah, man, it was overwhelming. Like it was a lot, dude. Like
yeah,
it was a lot.
like obviously it is getting more popular. It's getting more views with like every episode. You guys have got like a loyal following, but I did wonder that if you had any idea of the kind of just how popular it is within our little weird niche of aggressive rollerblading. Like people are like, I love it. Like anytime a new episode comes out, I'm like, I'm making sure I watch this today. Like,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone who does, it means a lot. And dog, you've always held us down. You've always held Texas down like a motherfucker. So I appreciate that. Yeah, dude, it's a lot, especially like we had a little bit of it like at Blading Cup. Like that was right after we first started. Like I came back after Blading Cup like almost a year ago, and I was like, dude, you wouldn't believe how many people came up to me and talking to me or whatever and be like, I love Jumbo. And I was like, wow, I was overwhelmed then. You know what I mean? I was extremely overwhelmed. And then for us to go to Winterclash, out of our element, like, you know, I'm like, I don't even know what you're saying. Hell yeah, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, pardon me, I'm gross. I have allergies like a motherfucker.
so you can't even tell. Yeah, it's pretty. It's got to be one of the busiest events in skate. I think that like 3,000 people go every year. I'm pretty sure Yo-Yo once told me it was.
It didn't seem like that many though. I guess one, and I'm not trying to like S my own D or anything, but we were all dying laughing. I'm talking to Belino and we're standing there, And we're in the middle of conversation. Some guy walks up. He's like, "Hey, man, do you mind if I take a picture with him real quick? Do you mind?" And ask John to get out of the way. And I'm like, and me and Michael Kraft and like, I guess like Caleb and Delano were all like, what the fuck Twilight Zone is going on? And he's like, dude, people like Jumbo. And I'm like, to tell one of the best skaters in the world to get the fuck out of the way so you can take a picture of this fucking nobody? Like, what is going on here? So it's like, yeah, man, it was a trip, dude. Like, it was a lot of fun. And I just think, as silly as it sounds, I don't know what people what makes them gravitate to it, but from what I've kind of figured out is people just kind of gravitate to like the friendship and documentary good times, their homies, and especially when you get older, a lot of our demographic, they get out of touch with skating, they miss those times with their friends, and we're just a big old, we're just the friendship brand or whatever the fuck you want to call it, like that's all it is.
No, I think it reminds everyone what they first, no matter what level of skating you get to, whether you just stay at a certain point or whether, you get sponsored or whether you go pro, everyone started it for the same reason, to just have a laugh. And the reason that they stuck with it more often than not is because they got a little crew, and their crew like became like their family and their best friends. And most people quit because their friends quit. Like, because they lost their friendship group, or because it just wasn't the same thing. And I think the special thing about Jumbo is it reminds everyone of that. It reminds you, it doesn't matter if you're like 14 years old, doesn't matter if you're 35, doesn't matter, like it reminds you of like how great that feeling is to be out with your friends, and you feel like you're the only people on earth. You're just like, this is our little unit, we're doing our thing. Nothing else really matters for those few hours or that Saturday or whatever. It's just that little world that you guys inhabit. And I think that's what it like perfectly captures.
I mean, I hope so. I really hope so. And like, if we want to be more than that, like we're never going to be like a fucking brand or whatever. Like might do one-off t-shirts there, or koozies, or, whatever, what's up. Stuff like that, but like the end, that's what it all represents, and like, but we do want to be, more than just like, for the streets, we want to do the tutorials, we want to do the setups, we want to do the DIY stuff, we want to, I think it's just the tip of the iceberg of what we can do. And even just our friendship, it's like, yeah, we got our little crew, but like we were talking about a minute ago, like, man, Jumbo's for everybody, man. Like we've had every other week, and I feel like for 2 months we'd have someone coming to town. You know what I mean? Like it was like Stefan, Kudo, Mick came back from Colorado with Troy, this person, faction team, whoever. And it's like, dude, you guys want to come to Austin and come skate with us on the weekend? People are like, how can I be in Jumbo? I'm like, show up, dude. Like it's for everybody. And it's like, it doesn't even have to be just with us. It's with you and your homies and your friends. And even if you don't have some, like, man, like all through high school, I didn't have any rollerblading homies for probably like 2 years at one point. Well, not completely 2 years, but like I skated with a bunch of skateboarders forever. But at that time when we were making videos when we were 15, like that's what Jumbo was then. It just didn't have the name Jumbo. It's the same shit. It's the same mentality, the same reason it resonates, like, yeah, it's what we're all here for. Like, cool, pro, like what the fuck is pro anyway? You know what I mean? Like,
also true.
That's a whole nother thing, like I'm a proponent. You know what I mean? Even my boys that are actually pro, like Andrew's a big proponent of skating. You know what I mean? It's about the things that matter, not the fucking, we're gonna have some hierarchical fucking ego bullshit, or 10,000 people are going to watch something. Like, fucking go have fun with your friends, man. Build some ramps.
Yeah. Like, I do like it. That is quite cool, the idea that that's become a thing where people are like, oh, we're going to hit up the Jumbo guys. And like, I imagine there's probably people making a point of coming to Texas just to hang out and be in it and be involved, because it looks like you guys are having so much fun that they're like, I want to experience that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like we've had a couple old faces that we haven't seen in forever, like some dudes from Tyler that Cody hadn't seen for a minute, like Cody Smith and boys and Matt Raker and all those dudes, they all came out from like Tyler, and they were like, dude, we haven't really been skating very much the last like however many years. Some more than others. I shouldn't say that, but like all these guys are like, man, we just kind of want to come kick with you guys. It's not even necessarily about the skating, just kicking it, drinking a beer, and bullshitting with the boys in the parking lot, you know.
I like the guy that's like, he always wears like a Wu-Tang t-shirt, and you can tell, I don't know if he stopped skating or whatever, but he's just getting back into it.
MVP. You talking about Denny?
And every time he jumps on a handicap rail, he leans back too much, and he's just like splitting it,
Look,
like hitting his asshole.
Denny's the
but
MVP.
he's just going for it. He's like, I'm having it. I'll take the slams. I'm going for it.
Denny's the MVP. He is the most sincere, kindest, just most beautiful soul. Like he's really good at BMX, by the way. Like
I saw a couple of clips.
Really good at BMX, and he started skating pretty recently. But like, as far as like someone who's just like humble and honest and heart's in the right place, like you know, yeah, he's new and like he's leaning back on rails or whatever, but he's trying it.
Yeah,
and I'll be like, dude, I'm not doing that rail. Like, there's no fucking way. Like when he was doing the fish brain, I wasn't there, and I you know, sometimes I'm not always there. I spend like a good chunk of the year hurt and work and stuff like that. So like sometimes I'll see the episodes and I'm not always there. And I saw that one. I'm like, bro, trying the handicap rail out. I was like, dude. And after eating shit, and he's not a spring chicken, you know, he's not 14. You know, when you're getting up there in years, like, fuck, dude, second try. Oh, hell no, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but he'll keep going for it. And dude's got heart. And like, it's very refreshing because, you know, you can get beat when you've been skating forever and you're just like, you get beat, bitter old man. You're just like, man, not for me. Man, you get all like the fool go skate anything. You know what I mean? He still has that adventurous like spirit, just sending it.
Oh, so that's why he sacked it. He sacked it because you weren't there to take the slam that Saturday. So he decided he had to take it for the team.
Well, I had taken enough slams for an entire year at that point. So
that's true. So there's a right answer and a wrong answer to this. What was the highlight of your Winterclash weekend? And if the highlight was not at the Tipsy Duck on Friday night, then I think we're going to fall out.
All right, man. What are the? God damn it! Fuck, I gotta go on. I fucked it up. Never mind. What was the janitor's job at the ska show?
What was the janitor's job at the ska show? I can't
pick
even
it up.
Oh God. I can remember that, and then I can just remember.
Oh my God.
I can remember the slow dancing to the country music song, and you kept like shouting at me because apparently I wouldn't let you lead
you, man. You gotta let me lead the lady. Come on now, let me lead you. We're two-stepping.
I think at that point I was everything was getting a little bit blurry. I'm not entirely sure I knew what I was doing.
Yo, that shit was rad though. We had a good time.
I was also quite surprised by how quiet the bar was on a Friday night. It didn't feel like there were that many people because we went back on the Saturday night and it was mobbed.
Oh, we didn't go the next night like y'all did, but Caleb and I left, I think before you did. Also another culture shock. That little strip where that bar is all right. That was like my first time to Europe, and like that was the first city I've been in Europe. But comparable in America, like that street reminds me of like our 6th Street or like Bourbon Street in New Orleans or like Beale Street in Memphis or Broadway in Nashville, kind of like the touristy bar strip.
Yeah.
And we walked out of that bar and there was this kid and his friends were holding back this kid and he was trying to like punch a cop. And I'm like, fuck, man. It's like, I don't like it, but I was like, you can do that here? Like, they're not just going to shoot you? Like, you know what I mean?
They don't have guns. In most places you go, they don't, well, especially in the UK. Maybe in...
I learned that. They don't have guns. They don't have pickup trucks. I get it.
In the UK, they don't have, in the UK, they don't have guns. So if you can run, if you can run fast enough, you can make it away. Yeah.
Well, I'm fucked then.
Well, then you need to kick them in the shin and then run. Then they can't chase after you. Yeah.
I would just say, yes, sir. You're just trying to do your job. I understand. You're just trying to do your job, sir.
I'm curious to know what would lead a young guy to want to fight a police officer. But yeah, there you go.
I can think of a million reasons. we don't need to go there though. But fuck 12. But anyway.
Well, I mean, yeah, that goes without saying. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
curious to know what led
yeah.
up to that altercation.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. I just was like bewildered. I was like, damn, I'll get away with a lot of shit here, man. But not like I'm the kind of guy who would do that back home anyway. But I was like, all right, okay, that's how y'all do shit here. Cool. Okay.
I think it depends on circumstance because I've also heard of
I
people being on nights out in France and just getting beaten up off police officers just for
oh,
being drunk.
I think also it's set and setting. Like we don't even need to go down. There's a million variables as to why. I was
Yeah.
just like walking back to the hotel a little drunk, and I was like, oh shit. All right, fuck, man. I'm liable to get shot where I come from, but okay, bud. Like, uh,
Yeah.
fucking America. How unfortunate.
That's that's a straight. You guys have got freedom fries though, so you can cling on to that.
Don't even get me started about food, man. That was the highlight of my whole trip.
What was some of the best stuff you had?
Oh, dude, me and Gutweiler. So Zach Gutweiler's a chef.
Okay.
We already talked for like a month ahead of time. Like we didn't even give a shit about skating. That's why he didn't go to Winterclash. He was like, all right, I'll come skate in Barcelona, but I'm going for the food. So that's kind of our whole thing. We just kind of like hopped around, got tapas here, tapas there, kind of just did a little thing, It's pretty fucking whoop ass, man. Like
Yeah,
then you come back to America and you realize, cool, everything just has poison in it.
it's quite funny. There's so many food products that you get in the States that are just banned everywhere else. Like
Yeah,
you can't even like import them over here because our food standards agency is just like no. But oh god, yeah, tapas in Spain, and especially if you go to like every different city you go to or every different region has like different specialities. So if like
yeah,
near the coast, it's like seafoody, and then if you're inland, it's like oh god, yeah, it's so good.
yeah. I can't wait to go back and actually like go in. Mick was telling us kind of like when he went to blading camp with Glow, Malaga, and all that stuff, like kind of how it based on geographically where you go. And I'm kind of a food nerd. I know I look like I ate out of a dumpster, but I like good food, like
Yeah, it is. It's Spanish food is one of my favorites. Also, I only went to Italy for the first time last year. Like, despite the fact it's like less than 2 hours away, I've just never been. And the food, I had a pasta dish like every meal for like 5 days straight, and
oh
I was like,
hell yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up from, but it was worth it. It was worth it for the just.
Oh, absolutely.
It was insane.
And like I'm assuming, well, I don't know. I can't assume anything because I've never been, but I would like to know so I can figure it out.
It was but just like it was basically eating the exact same meals you've always eaten back home, like the carbonara or the bolognese or
Yeah.
and it just tastes so wildly different. And you're like, this is
Well, it's how you make your noodles, like like I don't know how it is for y'all, but like there's only one place in Austin, and Austin's a really big food town. Like there's this place called Patrici's that I'll go to sometimes because like you go to this trailer, it almost looks like this little like well, I guess I don't know. Gotta watch my language. I don't want to say gypsy, but it does look like almost like a trailer where it's like this little mom and pop like place. They have like the clotheslines out where they're hanging like the fucking noodles. They're doing everything, and I'm like, there's like a craft to it, So it's like I really respect that and I really appreciate it. And it's like I don't know. Texas, we're pretty lucky because we kind of have our own little food culture, but it's very like meat heavy base. It's a little different. So as far as like delicacies, like I don't mean to say like delicacies, but like but as far as like a craft goes and actually like spending your time to really put yourself into food, that's like I respect that, and I really appreciate it, So like, yeah, that was a big part of the trip, So.
I mean, but you guys have got Texan barbecue, and being so close to Mexico, you've got all the insanely good Mexican food. So you guys have got
don't
stuff.
Get me started.
We don't have good Mexican food in the UK. All Mexican food in the UK is dog shit.
Well, Mexican food in Texas is completely different than Mexican food, say California, New Mexico, or Arizona. So there's Tex-Mex, there's actually Mexican food.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's a chef. My partner's a chef. So like she used to be a chef in like Oaxaca down in Mexico for a while. So bunch of my aunts are from Mexico. I grew up kind of like, Central Texas. So it's,
Yep,
but you got
yep.
to come down, man. We'll take you
I'm
two
very,
step
yeah,
in. We'll get
I'm
you
very jealous.
some
Yeah,
chili, some brisket.
yeah,
Get you.
I could be convinced. I did notice that you were saying like, so you were saying you and Zach weren't really that like bothered about skating that much in Barcelona because you were all just about being there and like enjoying stuff. And I've noticed that you're in the episodes in Barcelona, but you're hardly skating in it. And I was wondering what the
Oh,
reason
keep watching. Shit don't really change a whole lot.
like you're there.
Spoiler alert, things don't really change a whole lot. I don't really
So,
do a whole much.
like
Well, it's kind of a joke. They're like, yeah, let's go to the place, the best spots in the world. And I'm over there like, these spots fucking suck. Because it's just, I don't know, like, I'll skate anything, but I'm not going to like try to get a clip. You know what I mean? Like, if I go to a perfect rail, like, what am I going to do? A hard
yeah,
spin topsail this
I was about to say
rail?
you're not just going to get out all your
What
true
am I
splits
going to do?
and full
And
cabs now.
I could push myself to do a harder trick, you know what I mean, than I normally would, but it's still like, all right, you did, oh, it's a rail, you did AO, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, still standards, and it's like,
I
if I'm
know
going
what
to
you
do
mean. Yeah,
something, I at least want to be honest with myself. So for me, it wasn't, I can get all real about it if you want. I kind of built it up in my head a lot of like not skating before we go to try to save my body. I spent like the better part of the year last year hurt. So there's a bunch of shit we've been working on. I kind of went on the back burner because I wanted to make sure I wasn't hurt for this. And then we get there and I'm like seeing all these spots and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do on this? So like, and I'm kind of like looking around trying to like think about how I do shit. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of was like grasping at straws a lot, like, I did a couple things, but like I wouldn't consider, no offense, Cody. I hope people hate me for saying this. You might think otherwise. I don't think I did one thing that would be considered a real clip. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I kind of skate the way I skate, I guess. And
I think I know what you mean. Like you're attracted to like a very particular type of spot or something where you need to figure it out. And
yeah,
when you go to a
well,
place like Barcelona, all the conditions are kind of too perfect sometimes, and you're like,
so sometimes because okay, if you're skating with fucking 10 or we'll say 7 to 20 people on a couple of days, like we got to go somewhere everyone can skate. You know what I mean? Or there's a potential for everyone to get a clip. And I'm kind of like the one-offish guy where it's like, there's that obstacle. You might be able to do a couple tricks. And that's about all you can really do on this thing. And that's it.
like you don't strike me as someone that likes a session spot. You like a spot where you go there, figure it
Oh,
out, get it done, and
I
like,
love a session spot to skate.
okay,
Like there's so on the last, I don't know if it's out yet, the second day of Barcelona where Lomax is showing us around. I think he
yeah,
might have came out Monday. There was a whole nother ledge that Cody was doing at the very end. Cody's doing like a 270 on like a hip. While he
yeah.
was doing that, we kind of our group got separated. Lomax took us to this long, perfect metal ledge. Man, I skated the thing for like 2 hours up the camera there. It's fun, but it's a perfect long metal ledge. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do on it? You know what I mean? It's like
That's my point. You
just
skated it
because you
off
can
camera,
doesn't.
but if it was
For
on
me,
camera, you would want like a one and done spot.
no, absolutely. I mean, for me, it's like just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, and it's like I'd rather have something that has like some sort of like, I mean, dude, I'm not gonna jump off a fucking 15-foot roof, but my kind of thing is if it's higher than I can reach, like on my feet, if it's higher than I can reach, okay, now I'm a little scared. You know what I mean? Like if it's
Yeah,
higher, if
yeah.
it's probably like 8 or more, I'm like, and it's kind of fucked up and it's got some shit about it, then I'm like, okay, now I'm a little nervous. You know what I mean? But for the most part, like, I don't know, it's gotta have some sort of character or flavor or something up. I like rock and roll, man, like it's just the way I like shit.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, what am I gonna do on a perfect ledge? I'm gonna do fucking some 3 trick switch up with like I've seen that a million times. And I understand the new avenue of skating is like pushing all these avenues or spots and whatever, and like, and it's very, very technical. I'm almost like I like to skate technical shit when we're fucking around DIY by ourselves, but like, I'm like the antithesis of technical.
I was about to say you're like the
Find the
caveman
barbed
approach. You're
wire
like, give me
roof
the
with like
give me the
find
roof
the
to
find
the bin.
find the rail with like razor wire around it, and like if you do a backslide and you survive, then good. Like I pretend I'm on a bike, dude. I literally pretend I'm on a bike most of the times. Like a bunch of my buddies are like, Bone Death used to be based out of here. A bunch of my buddies will be sharing spots all the time. Like, what are you doing this spot? I'm like, oh, jump over it. Like, just go fast and survive.
Yeah. That reminds me. I can't remember whether it was Candy or Ends where you're just skating that roof with like the barbed wire just like crisscrossed across it, and you're just like rolling over it to jump off. And I'm like, this can go wrong at so many points.
Oh,
That could
dude.
literally go wrong just rolling
Oh,
across the roof, and then you just fall on barbed wire.
there's a clip in the new standard edit where Stefan does like a roof to a roof, kind of pops off. That's literally like 100 feet away from that roof. And that roof is really low. Like, it's a baby roof. But the danger in it is it doesn't have to be the biggest roof in the world, but the fact that it has 20 strips of barbed wire, and say it's like this, and my wheel comes underneath and gets caught, it goes up under between the wheel and the boot and the frame, and I get yeeted. Next thing I know, I'm forward baseball sliding through just barbed wire. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of thing for me sometimes. Like, it doesn't have to be like the biggest, craziest, most rock and roll dangerous spot, but I can't. I'm in my late 30s, so I can't send it like it used to. But like, well, actually, never mind. I still can.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
But get that little element of like little danger, a little like zaniness, a little bit of just something different. Like, I even sent one to Stefan. Like, we're at Winterclash. I had sent Stefan a roof that was like not the biggest roof, but it has like a wave to it. At the very end, it had like razor wire.
I'm sure he showed me it. He showed me it, and there was one, and he was like, "I'm not jumping off that." And you were like, "Look, it's not even that high. Look, it's like
it's not. It was like 6.5. It was like 6.5 feet. It was like 7 feet. Dude,
I'm sure,
it's sick. I kind of regret not doing it, but I have the pin. So next year, if you guys want to go fucking send it off this roof, let's go.
I think he said your reference was you showed him like the car and the photo, and you were like, "Look, that's just a tiny little Euro car, so that can't be that big." And Stefan's like,
I feel like you got me a little bit. I didn't say tiny little Euro car. They're little. I think
they are little. They're little compared to the cars that you guys are used to over there. The cars you guys are huge. Yeah.
I realized that I have a big truck when I got over there, and I was like, "Fuck." I have the biggest truck in Europe, and I have like a little work truck.
Also, our roads are a lot smaller. Like, our roads are a lot narrower, so we just don't have. If we had those big, they wouldn't fit.
Yeah, well, it was just okay. You're like exciting. I'm getting like just can't even wait for you to finish the sentence because like I'm like being the smart ass, but I'm also being serious. Like, some of the biggest culture shock just like traveling around. Cause like, dude, I'm like 37. I've never even been to Europe. I'm like, all right, I'm a dope American over there. And I even joked like the Winterclash, I'm like, where are all the trucks at? Being a smart ass. I didn't see a single Ford pickup truck or any pickup truck till the very, very last day. And we were in Amsterdam, outside of Amsterdam with Gavin and Levy. And I was like, finally, F-250. And then they were like, this dumb truck, dumb American truck. And I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I was like, honestly, just the transportation, just like, we don't have any public transportation. We just got a bunch of big ass trucks, shitty roads, no public transportation. Like, oh, that was probably the biggest culture shock, was just vehicles and trains, planes, automobiles, bullshit,
Yeah. Europe's definitely got its shit together when it comes to like public transport and stuff like that. Whereas, like, I've got loads of family in the States, and I remember just any form of traveling state to state, or even like city to city or whatever. Basically, just everything's in a car. Everything's in a car. That's your option.
I'm jealous, dude. I mean, dude, horses can only get you there so fast in Texas. We all ride horses and shit.
With the 6-shooters, horse and 6-shooter.
Oh, hell yeah, brother.
So
telling me I'm all about 6-shooter shit, man. I lost $20 in the dice game 15 minutes for the start. And y'all like to gamble, ride a horse and shoot guns, you know.
So did no one get the Winterclash virus? Everyone normally when you go to Winterclash, you come home and you're just dead for like 3 or 4 days because you've picked up some mystery illness from like talking and hugging everyone. No one gets sick in Barcelona.
Oh yeah, Michael got sick. That's why he wasn't in the second episode. Him and his partner got pretty sick. She seemed to do better than he did. He got pretty sick, and then I think like 2 days after I got back, I kind of felt like dog shit for probably like a week. And so I have to keep sniffling and feel like my nose is running, but I'm still been dealing with it like every day. I'm just like blowing my nose a million times. And like, I don't know, it could have been a million things. I've had a month of debauchery, but
This
my
is
old
true.
lady's, my partner, my old lady, she's sick at home right now. So part of the reason I'm over here doing this is, yeah, she's been sick for like 2 weeks.
God. Also, it
Poor
probably
thing.
tore through Michael more because he's like Michael's built like a stick insect, so disease probably just ravaged him. Any kind of
Yeah, but I don't know. You can go the two avenues. Like, do you treat yourself? Do you eat fucking dirt? And do you have all these antibodies built up because you live in trash and dirt? Or, you know, Michael's a smart person who eats healthy, you know, for most part, and like, you know, masked up in the airport and stuff. And it's like, you know, you can be like, well, you know, you're healthier, so or you're, you know, whatever, man. It doesn't matter what you do. You're traveling around a million people. Like, doesn't matter how much you try or don't try. It's a good chance you could probably get sick.
yeah,
I kind of assumed that I was going to get sick too, because he said the year before that he couldn't even skate when they went to Barcelona. He just was sick in a bed for like a week or whatever the fuck.
it's so common, it's unreal. Yeah. Also, because they had a winter class just before the coronavirus outbreak, and so many people were
Yeah.
getting really, really sick at winter class and like basically like hotel room bound and couldn't even attend. And then it got announced just after, and we're like, was that coronavirus people had? Like,
Yeah, for real. I think that kind of happened at Powwow too. Mick said the same thing because he went to go help ahead of time with the ramps. And they had like a media blackout because it was like right when they were shutting everything down. And they were like, yeah, man, we can't even have this on because we don't want to get in trouble or whatever the fuck.
I
I think
remember that.
people
Yeah.
got sick from that too. So, I mean,
Yeah. They were like, don't post on social media, pretend we're not here. This isn't happening. Yeah, I remember that. That was such a strange, yeah. That was probably my biggest surprise with Winter Clash. So I always knew Mick Casals was short. I had no concept of when he walked past in the bar, and I was like, holy shit, you come up to like the top of my stomach. I was like, you come
that's
up to
my
like
little buddy.
you come up to my
Yeah.
lungs. I was like,
we were at the airport in Amsterdam before we took the train to Eindhoven. Matt Mickey showed up and we were all hanging out and he's giving Mick a hug. And I was like, damn, Mick and McDouble over here. You guys got McDonald's where you guys live, but you know,
yeah.
we were all
I was a
calling
bit sick.
McDouble.
Yeah. Matt Mickey would give him a hug, and like Mick's face would be his crotch.
The polar opposites, right? Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, Mick's, but that's why Mick is so like compact and concise and can just fucking contort himself into a million different crazy positions that no one else can, you know?
Well, as soon as I saw how tall he was in real life, then I was like started processing what he actually does in his sections and stuff like that. And then the new Mesmer video came out, and he like hops onto the top of the handrail and then transfers. And I was like,
He can jump so high though. He's
Yeah.
so springy.
I was
He's got
like,
like the springiest knees of anybody. He's
Yeah.
what, 5'4", and he can jump like to his shoulder pretty much.
that's it. I
I
was
mean,
like,
I might
you've got
be embellishing a
insane
little bit.
hops.
He'll tell me
Yeah.
otherwise, but he can mix really fucking good. He's our you know, officially unofficial dog.
Yeah, because there was a recent episode of Jumbo where him and Andrew Broom are like skating at quite a high ledge, and Mick's just jumping from the flat onto the ledge, even though it had like a step up first. And I know Andrew's quite tall and skinny, and I was like, now I'm like putting it all together, and I'm like, Mick can jump high as hell. So yeah,
Mick is whatever you want to call a pro, but Mick is more pro than most pros. I hate to break it to the world, but
he's got a pro wheel. He's legit.
yeah, he doesn't treat it like the pro wheels. I was like, wait, what are those on your skates? He's like, these fucking stupid ass wheels or whatever the fuck. No, Mick is I don't know. It's kind of like the whole thing. Like you see someone like Sizemore or Scott Quinn or Shima or like that. Just those smaller guys are just so compact. And they can just do so much. I don't know. It's just mind blowing to me. Like my body would explode. I would just collapse on the ground. Like
Yeah.
there's no way. But he's grinding to like Wall Rat King. Like we did one in like I guess we went to go film with after Barcelona. I guess we never really did talk about the whole trip that much, but we kind of went to Amsterdam after Barcelona and we went to go film a little bit with Kevin. And like first clip straight out of the train station, right when you walk out, there's like the sea ledge and with a fucked up broken back, just sea like soles around the sea ledge, drops soul to fakie, like down like a vertical wall, like 10 feet high, and just drops wall ride fakie, no problem. Just no one else can do that. I don't know. It's really fucking impressive.
Yeah, there was something he was doing in the recent episode of Jumbo's, the Barcelona one. Yeah, he was doing like a front Farv cess slide to true spin wall ride, and I was like, "That? Why are you making that look so easy? That is."
And on that shitty like marble stuff where like you put your palm on it, it goes like squeaks, you know, like
I was like, first off, how are you managing the Farv cess slide, but you're managing to rotate it and get a perfect true spin wall ride out of it? I was like, this makes no sense.
I mean, keep in mind he did all of the shit you're gonna see like with pretty much like a fucked up back, like a really fucked up back. Like he fell. They were playing that little bowl in Winterclash, a little baby bowl, and him and Levy were sitting up picking tables like kind of long ways, like three of them, and he went to go roll fakie, like jump off the quarter pipe, roll fakie on the picking tables, drop to the coping again over three of them, got to like the second or third, clipped his wheel and flew back straight tailbone to the coping. And was just out and like somehow skated harder than just about all of us. But that's just how he is. I don't know.
Yeah. So what were some of the highlights of the Barcelona trip? Like what was like some of the best bits? Because I heard you boys like to get quite loud at night as well. Were there any late night shenanigans there, or was it pretty tame?
I would always go out and like I don't want to like, get some dinner and get some dinner, have a drink or something like that, but take it pretty easy. I'm pretty like, so it's a lot to wrangle. Like we have like 10 people in Airbnb. To wrangle that many people and do that much shit. I know how heavy it is to carry around like a camera bag, skate spot to spot, or shitty bricks. Shout out to Cody for really sticking through it the best he could. But usually about like 4 or 5 in the afternoon, everybody's ready to call it. If it was up to me, I would have pushed it till 2 a.m. every fucking night and not go in the bar, not done anything, not eat, not do anything, and just push and push and push. Because I'm like that, I guess. Kind of always been like that. If it's a Saturday we're skating, I'm going to try to milk it as much as I can. So with that being said, until it was like the last couple nights, like it was all chill. Like we never really did much. It was mainly just like good eating and drink a couple glass of wine. That's about it, because it's like, the partying, that's for Winterclash. And when I get back home for Krill's bachelor party or South by or whatever, like kind of wanted it to be about business a little bit in a sense, even though I know seems like we're anti-business, but I know when I got to 10 miles skate ahead of me the next day and hopefully trying to film, so
yeah
there's a time and a place, believe it or not, with me.
Okay. So there was obviously some notable absentees there. No Broom, no Medina. Could they not be convinced to do the trip, or what? Did they have any like particular reasons for not wanting to go this year?
Not really. I mean, Ant's kind of been there, done that. He him and Abby are married now. They got a house.
The dog babies.
He's got his work, personal shit. Andrew, he moved into a new place, but before, I guess he had like an extra month or 2 left on his lease from his previous spot. So he was kind of doubled down in rent for like a couple months. So he got a really good deal on like a new place, but he would have to move in like right then and there. So he did that. So he was kind of paying double the rent on 2 different places. And I think that kind of took a little chunk out for him.
He can
so I
afford
don't
that.
think he was too incentivized.
He's balling on that sunshine money. He can afford that. He's got that He's got
Oh,
those pro
boy,
skate
here we
royalties.
go. Here it is. Yeah, it's not my business, not my place to say about all that bullshit. But
Well, I mean,
but no,
considering how much shops were discounting it within a month of it being
he
out.
works really hard, man. He works really hard, and he said before, he's like, man, I'm paying, around two places. He's like, I'm a grown ass adult. He goes, it sounds nice, but at the end of the day, he's like, I'm an adult with, I gotta live realistically. So,
Yeah.
and kudos to him. I mean, he's a hard ass working dude, and what people don't know is that fool gets up and works construction and labor and like skilled labor, not shitty labor. Like he's a very skilled person at his craft, and they bust ass, and then he'll still get off every day, whether there's someone there or not. He still skates every day, whether it's by himself or with his homies. So I mean, he's just always gonna be like that. So I don't know. But maybe next time, Frankie, come back maybe for that title again or some shit. I think we're trying to make all the stops that we can this year. So
You guys are going to hit up a bunch more competitions, even though you're not about the competition life. Surely.
well, we're gonna have a competition, but we're gonna go to a bunch of competitions.
Right. Okay.
Just putting that out there, you know what I'm saying? Get everybody a reason to come to town. But yeah, we're gonna go to a bunch, but maybe you come to ours.
All right. Interesting. Okay. And so you guys get back to Texas, and then did so you am I right in thinking you built both those DIY skate parks, or you just like
I got
worked on
I
other
got
people
three of
with it?
them.
Three.
I got three of them.
I know the dog pound, I know of Candyland. What's the third one?
It's called the Landing Strip. It's by the Austin airport. So, well, yeah, it's kind of like a whole story. I mean, if you want to get into it.
I do.
Um, cool. All right. So we're gonna go down the DIY route. Cool. Because I kind of hoping we were talking about this. We would talk about this. Sorry.
Because what one was first? Was Candyland first?
It was. Candyland was first. Can I like pee really quick? Is that allowed? Is that allowed in this format? Are we allowed to be human? All right, cool. Well, I'm doing it in a bottle already right now.
All right.
All right, give me 30 seconds. Oh boy. All right, we're back. We're back. All right, everyone. Calm down. That's enough.
Everyone,
right,
everyone,
thanks,
contain yourselves.
So
You've got three DIY projects.
Right,
the first one was Candyland.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, technically, I like a bajillion, dude. So it all started. There's like a lot of COVID bladers and shit. I was a COVID DIYer. I kind of made some stuff like in the past, like 10 or 15 years ago, like little cinder block ledges and stuff like that. And try to find like little abandoned slabs and put like, like minuscule stuff, but I never really like worked with concrete. And then I guess like I followed like Skate DIY on Instagram. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Clayton Growl. He's a pretty cool dude. He has this thing called Urban Skate Project, where they're really big about just like doing little installs in their community and stuff like that. So started filming those or following those guys a lot. And then I got really bored. And, so I learned how to make like beer can coping. So basically you take a beer can and you cut the top off and you fill it with concrete and you kind of fasten a little piece of rebar or something metal sticking out the side of the beer can. So that way at the end, it turns into coping. So when you peel these cans off, you got like a little DIY pool coping. You know what I mean? So clack, clack, clack. I made one of those in front of my house. And then I made like a shitty little ramp in the alley behind my house at the time. And I was like, okay, I need to start building somewhere. So I kind of knew about this place on the outskirts of town. I knew about it forever. It had been there since the 80s apparently. And for years, I was like, man, if I build there, they're just going to tear it down. And then eventually during COVID, I was like, okay, this bitch has been there forever. All right, let's just go for it. So before we even went in there, you probably have seen it. It's online. It's called Candyland.
Yeah, the one undercover.
Yeah, I mean, talking to you know it is, but to the viewers as well. If you haven't seen it, it's this cover DIY that we have in Austin. we went out there, and even before we started building, I think Caleb Benavides and I spent like a month just like cleaning the floor. It was just putrid. It was disgusting. Like probably like a quarter inch of just sludge in the ground. And it's a big spot. So we spent like a month cleaning out, and then I started to just build little shit here and there. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know about like mix ratios. I didn't know anything about tools. I didn't know you're not supposed to put concrete on top of concrete unless it's done a certain way, or you cut the ground, blah, blah, blah. It was a whole trial and error process. So that ended up becoming Candyland. And the reason we called it Candy was it had just made the video Candy. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. We named it that because Keaton Newsom would start a wheel company called Candy before he passed. And, we kept that name going. And I was like, what should we call this place? And we just had the video. I was like, Candyland for my dog, for Keaton, not just, the video for fucking Keaton, man, so that's our dog forever. So we started building out there, lasted for like, it's lasting until now. They're about to tear it down.
I was about to say that's the one that's in an abandoned shopping mall, and they're now demolishing the shopping mall.
Yep, probably shit. They could be doing it right now. Went out there and cried this weekend, got all sappy about it. But yeah, that was like my first baby, my first like delve into DIY. So we kind of worked on it for better part of like a year. We did like some fundraising events, had like a little comp.
I remember that. I remember I had a skate competition at it.
Yeah. Yeah. We had like a long jump, but instead of like a marker on the ground, I put a cactus on the ground. So you had to jump over a cactus. Bunch of gimmicky shit, I kind of want like comps are fun and all, but I'd rather see like a circus or chaos, just whoever just survives and sends it the hardest. Pardon me. God damn, these allergies are fucking killing me. You guys fucked me up with this goddamn European allergies. Get a hanky. So yeah, where were we?
And it was also the place. It was the location that Ant served your ass to you in a game of skate.
Oh, he'll serve his ass, or he'll serve anybody's ass. First of all, Ant's just too good.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And I was hurt, and I didn't want to try it. I had a sore throat for a month and a half. So we started building there. We had a couple of events, and then we got wind from a guy who skates and did graffiti there. He does construction. He goes, yeah, this contractor trying to put a bid on the place, which I caught wind of, and I said, okay. So I started doing like my online research about the place. I saw like the whole blueprints of the place have been updated to that year. Before that, they hadn't been updated for 15 years. So I was like, okay, something's going on here. So we started building at a second place called the Landing Strip. And that's over by the airport. And I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show Friday Night Lights or the football movie. But basically, They filmed a bunch of scenes out there. And they basically, after they filmed that TV show, they had already kind of like were done with the place. So it just became this overgrown jungle of like a tennis court and a football stadium. So when they cleaned that place up, started building a DIY. And at that point, I went off and I traveled for a while for like 8 months in my van, had some life shit happen, and I just kind of traveled around the van for a while. So at that point, I thought the first DIY Candyland was going to get torn down. Apparently it hadn't been, but we didn't want to start building and then get torn down the next day, but that's the way DIY goes sometimes. But so at that point, some of the skateboarders, getting back to what you were first saying, they started kind of pitching in, building some shit there whenever I was gone. And whenever I got back from my travels, I went back, continued to build a Candyland with them. So then it became kind of like a multi-person project between like BMXers, skateboarders, and bladers, because originally it was just a blader DIY. And you would even see, after I left, you see skateboarders there all the time. Candyland. Had no idea it was a blader or DIY, had no idea what candy meant, had no idea about any of that shit, but it is what it is. But yeah, did that, build the landing strip, and then later the landing strip, since it's next to the airport, that land got bought up by the airport. So now there's these big no trespass signs, federal criminal trespass, not just criminal trespass. So
Right.
that's a big old fine.
Yeah.
We'll still go out there every once in a while, but I'm not about to build shit. And that brings us to the dog pound, which is conveniently 2 blocks from my house. And I don't see it going anytime soon, hopefully. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's just something I really got into, and it's something that means a lot to me. So,
Okay. I can't believe because it looks like it's right next to an apartment building and it looks like it's
yeah,
right next to a relatively nice apartment building.
yeah.
I can't believe the residents are not like, fuck off. Like, go away.
All right. Just my weed on this bitch. All right.
Crack it.
So the way the neighborhood's set up is I live right north of the University of Texas, which is located just north of downtown. And across the street from that DIY is literally like a seminary that is affiliated with the university. So as far as that goes, all this way is UT. So no complaining. On the alley side, it's an apartment complex. We had a little event there. They were coming on their back porch and drinking beer and partying and watching the skate. They don't have a problem with it. Then behind it, it's like a big kind of grass hill. And most of the buildings that used to be there, including the one the DIY is on, have been torn down, except for one, and people still live in it. So I think as long as people are living in that back one, it's still maintained. I think it's got life to it. The moment I see like it looks like that house is done for, then I know we're gonna go.
Right.
And then the other side, it's like a parking lot and like a hippie art weirdo party space. So like we're in a pretty good spot. So
Okay.
like, and it's weird because like there's no, dude, I could go on talking about this town, how fucked up it is all day. This town is so like sought after land value wise, pardon me, that like in most major cities in America, like you'll be able to find an abandoned building or a slab or something to like build some shit on. In this city, dude, what we have is like there's none of that. And trust me, I spend all day every day on Google Maps, driving around for work, all kinds of shit. Like I don't ever see an empty slab you can build DIY shit on. And I always have my eye out. Like shit, you go to New Orleans or Detroit, throw a rock, you know? But here, not at all. So kind of had to jump on that one. Where was I going with that? Fuck. Help me out.
Because I was just like, it does seem, because we've got, in Glasgow, we're quite lucky. I think we've got 3 DIYs. I'm pretty sure we've got 3 DIY skate parks, but we've got loads of like abandoned industrial estates and areas. So people are just building them either under motorways where no one's going and no one's developing, because who wants to have a building under a motorway? Or it's like an old abandoned like industrial complex and they've just cleared the ground and they've literally sent in, but they do it on like big boy scale. They'll save up like five grand and then get a guy.
You get a truck.
Yeah, you
get a yard truck and you come in with a yard truck and they come in and they spray everything out. Like eventually it's what we want to do, but yeah, okay. So yeah, what I'm saying is like, so what you're talking about industrial or these dilapidated areas like that, every square inch of the city is so valuable. They call it Silicon Hills instead of Silicon Valley because everyone, their brothers moved here from California in the last 20 years. Like the city used to be the cheapest, most laid back, hippy dippy, you know, Willie Nelson style town you can think of. And now it's just tech yuppie bros.
I was about to say, so why is everyone moving to Austin?
Taxes, incentives from the government. It was like Dell Computers started here in the 90s, AMD, M3 or 3M, even like Lockheed Martin at one point had shit here. There's a million. So like there's a lot of military bases around. So you got like the Raytheon people, shit like that. So all this like big tech people, all the startups, everybody and their brothers moved here from California. You know, love California, no hate, but you know, rent's quadrupled in the last 10 years. Yeah, so like it's very expensive to live here. It's not as expensive as say like the Bay, but Austin's not a cheap place to live, man. It's a big city and it's expensive. And so basically what I'm getting at is like every square inch of this town is like of value. You know, there's no just empty lot. You know, there's no empty slab. And if there is, it's not going to last more than a month. So like the fact that we have the one that we have is, and the fact it's 2 blocks from my house, it's wild. Like it is really weird. I've gotten really lucky with all these DIYs. None of them have been torn down. The first one has been there for over 3.5 years. And like, usually people build DIYs, they're torn down within a week, you know? Someone put a quarter pipe literally across the street from the dog pound, like literally across the street from this park. Someone built like a little quarter pipe and it lasted 3 weeks. The city tore it out, you know, but we're pretty lucky. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how, but we are.
Plus, it seems like you guys get good use out of it. I saw Michael was there yesterday or something.
Yeah, he's there every day.
He
and Andrew skate every day. So I mean,
oh, do they live nearby as well? Or
pardon? Sorry, I didn't mean to
interrupt. Do they both live near to it as well?
Nope. Caleb and I live pretty close. Caleb's work is like a block from there. Caleb and I worked at the same place Caleb worked at for like 10 years. There's a little pub down the street. But it's block from Caleb's work, block from my house. Andrew lives a little north. Michael lives kind of farther east. But yeah, they're always there. They skate like every day. So maybe not always there, but for the most part, yeah.
Okay. Wait a minute. I thought, is Caleb not a tattoo artist?
He is. Actually, I had so many zany ideas. I know I did a laugh track. I was going to have him like tattoo me in the middle of this podcast and all sorts of stupid shit. I meant to bring an egg. I was going to eat an egg in the middle of the podcast.
Oh God, we need to get to both of those actually. Yeah. So
hell yeah. Shout out Tom. Where you at in the game of skate, player?
Anytime, any place.
Oh, I'd love to see it. I'll provide the eggs.
So you used to work in the tattoo shop as well. What do you do now?
Oh, no. Caleb's a tattoo artist. He works at a pub. It's called Crown and Anchor. It's a British themed pub, like right by our DIY. But I worked there for like 10 years.
Ah, right. So what do you do for work now?
Me? Oh, I don't know. I'm a VP at a Fortune 500 company, Jumbo World Enterprises. You might have heard of it.
I can tell.
Yeah. I mean, I lost $20 in a dice game before this started, so work is work, right?
Yes, this is.
Anyway, on to something more important or cool or funny, right?
Well, Caleb asked for some good stories that the people would like, and Caleb wanted to talk about your professional egg eating competition credentials.
Fucking bullshit, dude. I hate that shit so much. I mean, I actually don't mind it. I don't mind getting put on blast. Yeah, Sean Kelso, Skater of the Year, and then me eating eggs. Also, Cody is to blame for that. Because he's like, yeah, I told Tom I ate 12 eggs. I ate fucking 12 eggs. I ate like 4. Good. So here's all that went down. Our buddy Timona Kasui worked this bar called Haymaker. And every year on the 4th of July, America has like, for some reason, our gluttonous asses tend to have like food eating competitions. And, there's always like the hot dog eating competition on the 4th of July. Well, the bar he used to work at had egg eating competition. And I like pickled eggs. They're pretty good. I'll eat a couple. And I asked him, I go, what did the winner eat last year? And he goes like 7. I was like, 7? I can eat 7 fucking eggs. So Cody and I went to this bar, and I like over a course of like 40 minutes or 30 minutes, I ate like 10. And I like rushed to the first like 6. I was like, okay, I got to 6 or 7. And I casually ate the last 3. Well, this fool fucking over there on the internet decided to put I'm the egg eating champ. No hate. I'm not mad about it. I'm not. This is whatever. But so we go like day of, and I'm all hungover. I partied all hard. I was a fucking idiot. We get there, and I couldn't even stand the smell of eggs at that point. And we get there, and apparently this guy showed up, and he had just come from their sister bar where they had a corn dog eating competition where he ate 17 corn dogs. The guy who won showed up, went to this corn dog eating thing. Sorry if I'm losing you guys. We're at a bar. Let me start this. We're at a bar. I go to this egg eating thing. I'm sitting there thinking I'm going to eat some eggs. All of a sudden, I see this guy show up. I'm like, who's that guy? Like, oh, he just won the eating competition at the other bar. I'm like, what did he do? Oh, he ate 17 corn dogs. I'm like, what the fuck? This guy goes on to eat 30 eggs, just staying up, looked like he was in the military. Bloop, 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 bloop. So by the time I got to the 4th one, I look over and I'm like, why even keep going? This is stupid. And then these frat boys next to me are like throwing up in a bucket. And they're like, oh, I'm at 12. And I go, so you're throwing up from eating a dozen eggs? Like, you could just stop. This guy's going to win. Like, why are you punishing yourself? Like, this is stupid. But I guess ever since, it's silly. It's funny. I'm a big old goofy character, right? I'm just a fucking cartoon character. So
So that guy won 2 food eating contests in the same day.
fucking win $300. I paid $300 to not feel like that. Bullshit. If you ask me, that's terrible, dude.
Was he like,
why do that to yourself?
Was he huge?
But if it was,
fat,
say it was 7 eggs, say that guy didn't show up and it was only like 7 or 8 eggs, yeah, I might have tried a little harder. But come on, man, know your place, and no one, you know what I mean? Like, no reason to be a complete fucking dumb piece of shit. I do enough as is.
that footage is gold. I asked Cody to send me that. Yeah, it is very funny.
And he took it from his story. That wasn't even like a hard post. He was like prowling on the story, screen recorded it, and decided to just make this whole thing. And I'm like, bro, I'm gonna play you skate too. Like,
you do realize I'm pretty sure he wasn't like making fun of you. I'm pretty sure he was like,
no, I have no hard feelings about any of that, dude. I'm used to getting fucking roasted. You too. You grew up skating in Texas. Everyone's so thin-skinned compared to like us, dude. Like, come on. It takes a lot to like really get me down. You gotta really come at me for me to be pissed off. Like,
do we have to come after your step on torque slides?
Here it is. Okay, is this a Medina question? Is this Medina? Because
Ant did ask me about your views on step on torque slides.
Oh my god! Should I do it? Should I not do it? Oh man!
Please,
Aunt Medina, just want to say shout. Oh fuck! I can't say it, man. I don't want to make a bunch of enemies. Fuck! I can't do it. Let him say it.
Ant will never say it. Ant's a coward. Ant only runs his mouth on DMs. So right, well,
okay. Let's say this. I just hope that they have a non-step on back torque challenge at Blading Cup next year. Do you catch my drift?
I do. I wonder how many people will get that joke, but yeah.
Hey, if you know, you know, man. Just
if you know, you know.
I don't know, man. We're fucking brutal down here, dude. Like, you couldn't get away with shit. Like, I don't know what you're about to go into, but we can go into the whole shit talking thing.
Okay. That does. When you mentioned Blading Cup, though, Caleb wanted me to ask you if you would tell the stories about what you guys get up to in the last few hours of your last Blading Cup trip. What happened there?
Exactly. I don't know. It was fucking miserable. We thought LAX was open 24 hours. It's not. The main mezzanine is, or I guess if you're doing an international flight. So we don't want to spend money on a hotel room. So we decided to go to the bar till 2 a.m. and then catch a flight at 7. We're like, oh, we'll just go to the bar and then go to the mezzanine and like go through security. No, security didn't open until like 4 or 5. So we're just sitting there with all like the crazy homeless people. And some lady kept telling me she had a really high voice, but all of a sudden the demons came out of her and she was exactly. She had the deepest voice I've ever heard. She told me to get a haircut, said she's going to beat Mick's ass, kept saying exactly. To the point where Caleb even wrote exactly on my arm at one point. But yeah. Now let's go back to this back torque thing, man. I got some words to say about like standards. And it's not wrong, dude. I mean this in no disrespect. Some people get a little about us Texas boys, get a little shit talky, which I'll step on shit all the time. They'll call me out. They'll get on my ass. Not even a single person or group comes to mind. But I do see a lot of shit where we need to be a little more thick-skinned. If someone says run it back, clean it up, don't get your feelings hurt. Because what they're doing is they're being your friend. You rolling that top side, you stepping on, is a little sloppy, a little questionable. We've always been called out. We weren't allowed to do backfires when we were kids. We weren't allowed to do porn stars. Those are legal tricks. It's just shit like that. You know, I don't know. It just, oh man. I grew up around skating like people like Pancho Barrera. If I like wimped out at a spot, I got grounded. He would call my parents' house and like prank call the house, pretend he was the principal, and be like, "Oh, we caught your son sucking a goat's dick in the bathroom today. You know anything about that?" And he's too scared to do the rail, and then just like hang up or whatever. Like, full get me grounded to the point, you know, like I just think when I see people cheering for dog shit, like, yeah, good job, you did. I'm like, yeah, motivate your friends, but you're not doing them any favors by letting them win on some dog shit either. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. See, when you see someone do like a questionable trick or an execution, and then you hear people clapping in the clip, you're like, your friends don't love you. They
Run it
don't love
back.
you. If your friends
Run
loved
it
you,
back.
they would, they would, they would let you know. They would let you know that that wasn't up to standard.
Because when they let you know, that's being a real friend. If they're clapping for you for some bullshit, and you're like, yeah, you did it. And I hate to say it. I see it on roller skating a lot. No offense, roller skating. I love you guys, but like, the more you kind of fucking, I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. You know, like I think it's good to build your friends up and cheer for them, and like when they actually get outside their comfort zone and skate hard. And fuck, man, I don't know. I'm trying my hardest to be nice. It's just sometimes people be like, "You guys are fucking dicks" in Texas. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just, I know I'm not the best and I skate different than most people, but like, I know when I'm full of shit.
Yeah, yeah. Right. I know why a porn star is an illegal trick. Why is a backfire an illegal trick?
One, I still think it's just a fucking dumb trick. I can't do it for shit. One. Oh no,
Well, in
it's
that
just one of
case,
those things.
I'm
It's
gonna
one of those
start. I'm
things.
gonna call all flips
I
illegal.
feel
Then all
like
flips are illegal.
okay. So I think we can all agree at this point. And I watched your last podcast, and you were talking about learning how to skate and not like 90 skaters being sponsored, and they didn't know they could do tricks, but they didn't know how to skate. I'm a big proponent of like, don't sell kid skates, laney rockers. Like, learn how to skate. You know, like learn how to skate before you do a grind. It's almost the same thing. Like, I don't think anyone should even try to learn how to backfire till they're like in their 20s. Like, stop making that your first grind. You know what I mean? Like, do any other grind. You know what I mean? Like, because there's something that's just so disgusting about just like, even when I was 13, I'd be like, watch my buddies learn their first grinds. I'm like, ugh, you gotta do that one. Like, it's just gross. it's just a hard trick to make look good and get pitted and be steezy. Like, not all of us can be bursting. You know what I mean? Or Duke
Yeah.
or any of those guys. Like, you know, those guys have good backfires, but backfire is just one of those tricks where it's like, even the best pros now, like 90% of backfires just look like dog shit. It's just this gross trick.
Okay.
It's yucky.
What other tricks are illegal or gross? I wanna know what your take is on this.
Oh, let's think about all the tricks I can't do. What's most of them? No, it's really just like backfires. I like doing porn stars. Don't get me wrong. They just talk shit when we would do them, you know, and I get it now. And it wasn't because of the back foot being all over the place. It was just because it was just like, that's what you did when you couldn't do something else. You like a cop out kind of thing,
Yeah.
which I still get. If I go to skate a handicap rail, first trick I'm going to do is probably a porn star. You know what I mean? Can't jump high anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. It's one of those ones that you see people do, and you're like, well, okay. It feels like a trick instead of doing something better.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd rather see a porn star in a backfire most of the time anyway. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying all backfires are bad. I'm just like, not all A cab on the backfires, you know. Like, but I don't know. I think it's just like one of those tricks. It's just like I don't know. I guess it's a stepping stone to like. I shouldn't hate on backfires. That's such a stepping stone to every other thing you learn on like handicap rails, and you're like 14 or 15 or whatever. And I just think they're fucking gross. That's all.
okay. I mean, that's
pretty much everything else in skating. I'm all about. You know, like I'm a lot less of a hater than I used to be. I'm like last like 5 years.
You're telling me you don't have any pet hates now that still bug you about skating, that when you see it in like recent videos or it comes up in, I don't know, whatever, on like social media stuff, and you're not like, this needs to stop. Whatever this is needs to stop. You don't have
I
that.
think
I
I
don't believe
think
that.
no, I think it's more like an attitude or like a cultural thing. Um, which I guess I might have opened my own can of worms right there. I think it might be more of an attitude or a cultural thing. There's such a shift to like this poignant cognitive, like we got to be smart blading. You know, you're uneducated if you're not. You know, but like we're also at a sense like getting this like cynicism and like this whole like I don't know, kind of like this. I don't want to say like ego, but this whole like mentality of like blading was such like go big, and then we had such a fucking everyone picked on us, and we went big to prove them wrong, and or not saying that's the reason why, blah blah blah. But we all know the ebbs and flows of blading culture, and I think we're kind of at one right now where it's like, yeah, it's really cool, and everyone's like doing like the coolest shit ever. Like it's blading's the best it's ever been. But I do think like is a little of that rock and roll edge lost a little bit. I think so. And it's like you can still be like, and I'm not saying be like, dude, yeah, I've had half a beer through this. Everyone knows me as the party boy. But like, I don't know. I think now like it's almost frowned upon to be like fucking rock and roll,
To
yeah,
be, I
face the
know, yeah,
music. And
I know
it's
what you
almost
mean.
like
To be like a
people
bit,
will say their
yeah.
favorite videos are face the music, road to nowhere. They'll say all that shit. But now everyone's like, well, curbs and thoughtful stuff, and all that shit's great. But I think like I don't know, it's almost like frowned upon now to like be in your 30s and still like fucking keep that torch going. I'm not saying be like an unthoughtful fucking degenerate piece of shit completely, but like I don't know, man. There's just like to me, there's nothing better than like like road nowhere, face the music. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? It's
but
just like,
yeah,
but now it's just like it's so almost like frowned upon in a way, and like weird. I don't know. Do you feel like that? Where it's almost like people are like leaving in the past, man. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's like everything now is either like very, very polished, pristine, or it's a bunch of slowcore music that sounds like Deftones shit. I don't fucking know. Like,
well,
and I'm like, there's not much of like punk rock or rock and roll and skating anymore. And like, I don't know. I think it's just like weird that that's almost like frowned at, like that whole Hesh mentality is kind of like frowned upon in ways. At least that's how I see it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but then
But
I think because society as a whole has tried to become more accepting of like everything. I think blading is kind of a reflection of that. And I do think there's like little pockets of everything now, which I do quite like. Like you say that
true.
doesn't exist, but I would say it does exist
Well,
in
no,
a
no, I
brand.
mean,
Well,
it's
sorry,
just,
like, but you like I would say I know you're not saying it doesn't exist, but like as in it's just not as common. But I would say like
oh,
it's
for
very
sure.
kind of vibrant in like brands like Mesmer who've still continued that kind of like fuck it attitude and like trying to make like edgy things and like have a team that kind of reflects those ideals. And I do think it's still out there. It's just not.
Well, no, and yeah, and I, those are my dogs. I love all of them, but it's, I guess it's more of like a da 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 mentality, and theirs is more like rock and roll. Like it's slower. It's a little bit more. I'm just saying, even look at just edits in general. Like I don't know. I fuck around with like a lot of like the BMX dudes and Bone Death and shit, and like skateboarding. Yeah, it sucks. Toxic culture. Fucking whack. Don't like it. But we're all playing with toys. But as far as just like that shit we kind of grew up on, just that fucking that driving beat and that kind of everything now is a lot more like, yeah, they say rock and roll, but I mean like rock and fucking roll. I don't mean
Yeah.
like alternative music, like so it's just like the whole like punk rock mentality of shit is kind of like to the wayside. It's like it's kind of one of the things I do like about BMX and skateboarding is like they still like I know some people are like grow the fuck up, and it's like I kind of like a lot of those old dudes. Are like 60 and they already fucking teeth and they're still fucking like tough and willing to fucking just go set it in the bowl. Like, I mean, yeah, maybe fucking watch your mouth and not be a homophobic piece of shit. But like that whole Senate mentality of just like, I mean, it's borderline like Peter Pan syndrome and it's
Oh
borderline
yeah,
like
but
sticking
I
to
mean,
your roots,
I'm
like
sorry,
sticking
but
to your guns.
all of rollerblading is Peter
Well, it's
Pan
Peter Pan
syndrome.
syndrome for
Yeah,
sure. But it's like not like I don't know. I love all the new shit. I love where Bling's at. I love where it's. I'm always gonna love where it's gonna be. But it's like I don't know. As far as like growing up and seeing it, like very much like a Charles Dunkel kind of style of like shit, and where it's just like, oh, there's like I guess like Stefan still kind of does it, and the Mesmer did sometimes and stuff like that. But as far as just like I don't know, rollerblading's weird now. I just never thought it would get to the point where like it would just I don't know. It's like it's so beautiful and pretty now. I don't understand it. Everything's so pretty, and I'm just like this fucking scumbag who's just like, you guys are so talented and good and like light in your feet and delicate and like beautiful, and I'm like, oh, there we go in the trash can again.
yeah. You're like, why is all this so graceful when I'm just trying to do everything really rugged and raw? And yeah, like,
Well, no, I still try to sometimes. I just can't fucking do it. I'm
I
suck,
mean,
dude. It's
you
hard.
and me both. But wouldn't you? Everything goes in waves. Everything goes in, like, remember when everyone started picking up like HD, like iOS cameras and making everything look like a car.
Oh yeah,
Every rollerblading video looked like a
yeah.
car
Everyone had to
advert.
have T3i or whatever the fuck it
Yeah, and it
was.
looked dog shit, and it looked too clean, and it just didn't look right, and it
The
didn't look.
least favorite time of blading, least favorite
Yeah,
time, at least
but
media
then
wise, looked like shit.
everyone reacted to it and everyone started picking up the Panasonics and the HPXs and the VXs
Yep.
again and making all their videos look like dog shit because they wanted it to look like the videos they loved in the 90s. And I feel like
Yeah.
everyone has like cleaned up skating and made it look like as technical and as like polished as possible. But it's only a matter of time before people rebel against that again. And then you start getting the nitty gritty,
Okay. Do
the
you feel like these ebbs and flows, like, so we're at this point in society, right? We're on this timeline. We're chugging along, right? And here's the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, up to where we're at today. And then you look at nostalgia and people are like, oh, the 70s are cool again. All of a sudden, the 80s are cool again. Now, all of a sudden, like the 90s and the aughts, and all of a sudden, nostalgia will just be at our current point in time where, like, does nostalgia even exist anymore because it's come full circle? So, you know what I mean? It's like this
yeah.
circle's here, and then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just think about that sometimes. I'm like, you're telling me like the early 2000s are already like nostalgic and back? I'm like, it was like yesterday. You know what I mean? What happens when like a week ago was nostalgia? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's
it's
quite
like
funny.
with
Yeah.
fucking internet, man.
Yeah, you mentioned Deftones. I used to go to like Deftones gigs when I was a kid, and they were one of my favorite bands as a teenager. And now I'm seeing
Yeah.
teenagers attach them to Instagram clips, basically as if they're like cool vintage bands because they weren't born when those albums came out. And like those albums came out in like the mid 90s.
Fucking wild, right? It's so wild. Like, and I'm just like, but it's so weird because like even like I'm a really big fan of like like 70s to like especially like Texas stuff. Got my 70s Armadillo boys here. I'm like really big in like 70s Austin culture and shit. But I remember like when that was like kind of like hip or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like how much it's caught up to whatever it is now. It's like as far as you know, nostalgia will be yesterday. Like I don't know. It's just so weird. Like the rate at which things are accelerating in that. I don't know if it's a fashion thing or I don't know. I'm old now. I don't know what the kids like. So
Yeah, yeah. I do know what you mean. But I do genuinely think it is more it's like because everyone's like it goes back to the whole discussion of everyone goes, oh, where's all the hammers at? And it's like people are still doing hammers. It's
oh,
just not.
dude, people
It's not the
doing
high
bigger
thing.
hammers now than ever. Like
But I genuinely believe at some point that's probably going to come back. People are going to watch this pristine, like really technical skating for a while, and then they're going to be like, you know what? I can't do that. I want to just go and huck myself. I'm going to go and skate the biggest,
yeah,
highest thing I can find.
I feel like I've heard you say that in podcasts in the back, and I don't think you're wrong at all. I just hope that if that does, they learn from our mistakes and you don't blow your knees out when you're 16. You know what I mean?
That's a
And
bit.
then
Everything's got its positives and
you struggle
negatives.
to skate a handicap rail for the rest of your life because your right knee doesn't work because you decided to do something stupid when you were a kid. And
Yeah,
I hopefully, someone's there to like, because we're still figuring shit out at that time. Like, like you were saying the last one, like the last podcast you just did, it's like some of those guys like would you go back in time and do something different knowing that it would end you, like, and hopefully those kids won't have to be in that position if it does get to that point where that we come back to that phase again. Hopefully they learn from our mistakes and they make more calculated, responsible, risks taking situations, whatever.
it is quite funny. Yeah, because I speak to people from
Learn
that
from our
era.
mistakes.
Yeah, but like I will speak to people from that era, or have skated with people from that era, and I'm like, dude, if you could go back and just not have done that and not have like
Would you?
given yourself that right. And the split is pretty much 50-50. It's not everyone going,
Yeah.
no, I was a fucking idiot. There's so many people going, I would not take that back. They were like, see how many times I cheated death? They were like, I fucking loved it. The fact that every time I rolled away and I didn't end up in hospital, they were like,
Yeah.
that feeling, you cannot take that feeling. They were like, I can
No, I
remember
do,
what it
dude.
feels
I
like now.
agree. I agree. I'm 37 and like I'm trying to like work on something right now. And like, yeah, I got some stuff and I'm not like super happy with it, but like I got like a list of spots that I kind of want to do. And it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do as hard of a trick as I could do maybe when I was a kid, but like I'm still gonna have my heart going and I'm still gonna be pretty fucking scared. And there's a good chance I could still get pretty broke off. And I'm the guy that usually does. So it's like it might not be to the caliber of what my younger body could take, but am I still going to put myself in a risky situation at my age? It's like, well, the mentality's still there. My physical capabilities might not be the same, but like, I'm still asking myself the same question now. You know what I mean? In a sense, like even like I was supposed to go possibly with Cody camp today, but before we were texting, like, hey man, after I get done with this, like, you want to go get a couple clips, and like the rest of the ones that I want to do, I'm like, well, just thinking about it makes me a little iffy, which I'm sure I'll probably bitch out and not do them. But
There's something to be
you know
said
what I
about that.
mean?
Like,
Like
it doesn't, the thing that
that
scares you
mentality
might
doesn't have to
change
go
when you're
away. That
older.
feeling doesn't have to go away. You can
Yeah.
still have that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, dude, you still do hard shit. Like I see you doing hard shit. Tell me your
And
stomach doesn't start getting a little
oh,
knotted up.
yeah.
Get some butterflies. Like fucking come on.
Yeah,
Like
especially when you take a bad one in the process and you're like, oh, that really is this the way it's going to go? Is it just are they just going to get sorer and sorer? And yeah, it's not as impressive as stuff I could do when I was a teenager, but the fact is, it still scares the crap out of me. And when I roll
you're
away,
still
I'm
doing
like,
it.
you got away
You're
with
still
it.
doing it.
So yeah,
You're still doing it, dude. That's all that matters. Just keep doing it. That's all. Like, and yeah, I get it. Like, and I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is like, I hope these younger kids, if that becomes the wave again, hopefully they'll learn from mistakes and be like, hey, young buck, think about it. Really weigh it out versus just go kill yourself. But the same mentality to us now, like, be realistic, but like doesn't mean you can't not, get your heart right, as we used to call it. Get your fucking heart right. Like something our boy Rob Z used to tell us. Before we would usually go to the hospital.
I don't know if I don't know if Rob Spranik was maybe the best person to take advice from because he pretty much lived everything at 100
Well,
miles an hour.
but that's how everyone we grew up with was, though. That's how all of them were. Like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, Austin. Like they were all like that. Every single one of them. And like that's why you see a lot of the best people come out of Texas. It's just because they had people fucking giving them dog shit, dude. Why do you think Andrews is good? Well, Andrew is going to be as good as he was no matter what. Andrew's not a good example, but look at Mason. Mason's probably a better example. We used to fucking clown on this fucking kid, dude. Like we didn't let him get away with shit, and look at that,
Also, you're probably the reason why he worked out so much because he looked like such a nerdy little kid when he was younger that he was like, I'm not getting shit anymore. He's like,
Well, one
I'm
day you
I'm
gotta
gonna get
stop looking like
beefy.
a little fucking wiener and get to it. Just kidding. No, But that's just, I don't know. I was never like that good, but I always still had that mentality, you know, even though I couldn't compete with any of those dudes, like on their worst day and my best day, still a million miles apart. Like, but the mentality was always there with us. Like, look at someone like Caleb, dude. He will skate every single spot. And yeah, dude, he and I aren't the best skaters in the world, but like the you know how furious he is and his tenacity and all that shit. Like he will go until he can't.
Yeah.
You know, and even someone as good as Mick, he will keep skating all day long until you make him stop skating. And they don't
Yeah.
they don't put up with shit. Look at Cody. Why do you think he gets all frustrated? He's like, oh, it's just the back rail. You know why? Because we were all pushed that we can always do a little better. And I think we can always all do a little bit better. And that's how we get better, you know?
Yeah, that is something that does appeal to me about Caleb as well, because he's just like, nah, he's like, I don't care if I take a beating. He's like, I'm going for this. And he's like, yeah, I know this trick is probably not like up to other people's standards. He's like, but it matters to me. And that's you can see when someone's just got like heart and like they care and they're like,
The
yeah,
king of determination, like
yeah,
for real. Like, and I don't have that in me. Like I don't. Like, I'm like, okay, fuck, I got a life to live Monday, you know, and like he couldn't give two flying fucks about Monday, and I've been trying to learn that, take more of that to myself, best I can. I just he's just that fucking just that real one, that fucking 100% always, and like I respect the fuck out of that. I really, 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 really do. You
yeah.
know, but I don't know. He's got. I might be like 80%. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, if it's time and place, I'll get to 100. But he's 100 all the fucking time. But
Yeah.
shit, he's from a little town called Seguin. Y'all, that's a whole nother story. Y'all don't even want to know about that one. It's about the realest town in Texas. So
Okay. So they're a little bit they're a little bit crazy from those parts. That's what you're insinuating.
where he and Mick are from Seguin. They used to have this little crew called the Pirates, and no one really knows about this crew. But their warm up spot would be like a 50 stair down rail. That would be the warm up spot. That's just how they skated.
Wow.
Yeah, just fucking. I was never like that, but those motherfuckers are built different. So
Oh God. Right. Okay. So you've mentioned this quite a few times during the podcast. You've said you're working on a little something. What's the little something you're working on? And does
I
it
mentioned them once or twice.
does it have anything to
Um,
do with a jumbo product? Because
uh,
I've already. I mean, you've watched the Cody episode.
no. I don't know nothing about products, but we can talk about an event though.
Okay.
Let's talk about this event thing. Actually, I was working on it yesterday. Hopefully, going to make a couple calls with some people here in the next couple of weeks about just, oh, I'll just figure out what we can all do to work together. But we're gonna do like a little event. It's gonna be, I don't know when. Hopefully, the fall. I got to talk to other people and see what comps are when, what happens, because ideally we'd like to be on that little circuit when people come to states, they can kind of hit this, and this. You know, Blading Cup's there and Fritz's deal. There's a lot of things in the South, so hopefully, kind of make a little loop for people. But we're gonna do something a little different. I think. I mean, right now we're gonna call it Jumbo Death Trap until we think of something
Okay.
better. I don't know. Have you ever seen like? I mean, to take inspiration from you seen like the Thrasher, like Hell Bomb or Hell Ride or the
Yeah.
Diamond Glory Challenge, and Burn Slow, the BMX dudes have this thing called Darty in the Ditch.
Yeah.
It's a big ditch that's here in town, and they do like basically all these challenges where everything, you know, there's like a long rail challenge or like a high jump challenge, but everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Maybe I don't know, something like that. Maybe do a bunch of zany shit. I thought about doing like a crazy relay race through town where you have to go to like this famous skate spot and do a grind, and go to this place and do this thing. I don't know. I have like all these wild ass things I could pull up on my iPad here, but I don't know how technology works, and I want to make the video go away. Yeah, something where it's probably gonna be more guerrilla style. Um, I mean, we also have talked about doing something at like a venue where we build ramps, blading cup style, because I've done a couple things like that similar in the past. But I kind of want to do something that's a little bit more rugged, a little bit more hesh, a little bit more fucking punk rock, I guess. And it won't be so much about who crushes the finals as who's just going to be the final person standing, if
Okay.
you catch my drift.
Yep.
But yeah, a feats of strength, if anything, maybe. Yeah, hopefully in the fall. And if anybody wants to, sponsor something like that, maybe throw a little, 10, $20,000 towards winter, that'd be cool. But yeah, do something like that. We just kind of want to do something a little different. And then we have some stuff lined up for like after party things with sort of live interactive event kind of deal. And then, yeah, I don't know. I don't know
So
how
the
exactly. We got like a lot of ideas. I don't know. Throwing around a lot of shit. So
right.
my
So
mind's going a million different directions on this question because it's like you could let me just look off in the distance all day on this one because that's what I've been doing for the last like 2 weeks.
I
But
mean,
yeah.
well, you guys, yeah, I'm sure you'll come up with something interesting because if the milk challenge at Carriers was just a little
Okay.
teaser,
Yeah.
that
So,
then
yeah.
then
I
that's what
forgot
we
about
can
the
look
milk.
forward to. Yeah.
Something like that, but not like we're not going to make you vomit. We're going to make you maybe get hurt, but not vomit. We're not doing anything gross. We're just going to make you send it. That's all.
Right. Okay.
But yeah. Yeah, that's all I know right now. I talked to a couple people that are interested in help me get the wheels turning, but other than that, that's what I'm looking at.
Also, you can't have a competition during the summer in Texas because people will die.
Oh yeah, you can't skate here at all, which is part of the reason I'm doing the DIY shit that I'm doing is slowly trying to get a portfolio together to where if I find a rich money bag investor, we can maybe open an indoor skate park and skate shop here, which is kind of my like goal. Hopefully one day.
Okay.
Kind of forgot about that whole part. We were talking about DIY, but anybody wants to help me open a skate park, holler at your boy because it is really cold and wet in the wintertime and it's really fucking hot in the summer.
So an indoor concrete skate park.
No, all wood so we can slip in the bowl and hit our fucking faces. Pretty much anything, honestly.
That could be part of a
As long as
challenge.
there's
You could
fucking, as long
you
as
could
there's
get them
weather
to
fucking
skate a bowl,
control.
but you pour fairy liquid in the bowl first. You pour washing up liquid in the bowl first, and it's last person to survive.
Oh my god. Fuck. I kind of wish I didn't put my notes on the iPad because I would like list you off a couple because they're fucking ridiculous. They're really dumb, but they're fun. And
Okay.
there will be a finals of the comp. It'll be basically what I'm thinking is if you're in like the top three of each of the challenges that I end up deciding to do, you'll be put into the finals for the big shebang, maybe. And that's probably about all I want to give away because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. And it could go completely different. We could have a really boring comp where there's 72 heats and you guys go home sunburnt and miserable and not want to have fun anymore and never come back again. So I don't know.
We've got plenty of those. We don't need any more of those. We've got yeah.
What are you talking about, dude? I travel all over the world to go to these fucking cool ass things. You kidding me?
How much of the pro comp did you actually watch at Winterclash? Tell the truth.
I watched a decent amount. I watched probably like, what's so hard to watch? That's the fucking thing. It's like, if you get into a spot, even if you move, you got to go take a piss. Like, dude, you're fucking stuck.
That's what I mean. If you want to go and get a beer, or you want to go get a piss, you're like, cool.
Oh,
I've
fuck
lost
no.
I've lost that.
Well, the best time to get a beer is during the comp. So I will say that's, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I try to watch like a third of it, half of it. But I was too busy hanging out with all y'all, being friends. I can always just go back and watch all that shit on YouTube that I still haven't watched yet. So
This is it. See when anyone's
which
like,
is funny because yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just watch the edits when I get home. And I still haven't watched them because yeah, it's a comp. Watch what I could, but the comp isn't really why I went. It
yeah,
was to go make memories with people and as much of a wild party boy as it might seem, you know, that means a lot to me, and I retain all that shit. I remember all you guys. I try to remember your names the best I can. You know, when you meet 1,000 people, it's kind of hard to remember everybody, but
Yeah.
you know, all that shit means a lot to me. It's a pleasure to have gone and meet everybody. So
It is quite funny when people, whenever you come back, they're like, "Oh, did you watch the comp? Who did you think should have won?" And I was like, "I watched hardly any of it." And they're like, "Why?" And I was like, "I was too busy talking to people." And then
exactly,
it
yeah,
gets to the end, and there's like an hour between announcing the results. As soon as the comp's over, I'm like, "Are we going to a bar?"
yeah,
And
exactly.
then
And you
people are
don't really
like,
get a lot of time or opportunity to talk to everybody. Like you
"Yeah."
got 3 days to talk to people you won't see again for a year, or maybe not 10. You know, like, you know, who knows next if we. I mean, hopefully we go back next year, but who knows? It might be another 10 years before I go back to Winterclash. So it's like I might not see those people again in a decade. So it's like, you know, you gotta pick
By,
your
th-
time. You
by
know,
that point, though, Jumbo will be big YouTube business, and you guys will be,
well, just keep it on the low, dude.
you
That's
guys
my
will
main
be,
source of income. You know what
guys will
I
be
mean?
balling. We'll be fine. Either that or Cody's going to take all the money, it's going to go to his head, and he's going to say he doesn't know where the money is. Then he's going to roll up in an Audi, and you guys are all going to be pissed. And then that's going to be,
Oh my god, is Andy gonna be fucking sitting shotgun or what?
and it's going to be how it's going to be how the band falls
I'm
apart.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my god. Oh, shout out. Here comes the sunshine. Everybody loves the sunshine.
Everybody loves the sunshine. Yeah. Um,
Oh my god. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Andreal died for everyone's sins. I don't know what the fuck, man.
that is true. That is true. He
I
made
told
his
myself
mark.
I wasn't gonna get all like this, but now I feel like we're getting towards the end. I cracked my second beer, so I might get a little fucking wild now.
That was probably the biggest surprise is that Yandriel went online and said all that stuff that he was basically owed money and they actually paid it. I never ever thought.
Oh, is that what happened? I just like getting a rise out of people. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. I don't know what the fuck goes on with razors. I don't know anything about money. I just know people fucking talk a lot of shit and I see dumb fucking memes and I'm just like, ooh, that's silly. Honestly, I could fucking care less. But I do think it's funny, like, you know, hey man, if that's what it took and he did it, fucking good on him. You know what I mean? Fuck, pay people for what they should be paid. But I'm also not here on this platform to fucking start talking some shit.
This is true.
I'm just playing around. I'm just goofing.
That reminds me. I asked people
Because if I really want to talk some shit, I would talk some fucking shit. But I'm a
Okay.
nicer guy now. Catch me 5 years ago, I'd be just out this bitch.
Right. Oh, right. Right. We've got questions. People have questions for Heath.
What's up with it?
Austin Paz. You may
Oh, my
have
dog, what up?
you may have heard of him. Um, used to be a big thing in the late 90s, early 2000s. What does Heath
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, you might if you're in the know. What does he think is the worst fall he ever had was?
Oh, fuck.
He also followed that up. He followed that up by calling you the Brian Shima of slams.
Hey, appreciate that, dude. I got the
Right,
fucking nim. I got the nim on the arm, bro. I get it.
Worst fall.
Fuck, man. I don't know. I have some that like look worse than others. There's one probably. I don't know. I had a few that like no one's ever seen. Snapped my ankle a couple times, just fucking around. Broken every fucking bone in my hands. But clip wise, that you guys have probably seen, probably ends like there's like a skinny little roof that's held up by like one little piece of metal, and it's like gravel on top. And I drop onto a dumpster, jump over like a chain link fence, and land between these two manholes. And the manholes have like jagged metal sticking around them, where like you would die if you fell on it. And I like kind of rolled because it's like rolling on gravel, and I didn't wipe the dumpster off, and I slipped out and just like went 6 feet to like my tailbone, and you can see like my spine go. Whoop, and I got back up and I did it. I mean, it's a very lackluster clip because it's like I'm skating off a roof, but I'm not skating. I'm like I take 2 steps and jump. I'm not like skating, But like if you're up there and you look at the thing, you're like, oh man, this is just gravel like up top. I guess the angle is kind of hard to do justice, but yeah, that one kind of fucked me up pretty good because I was like, got up and I was like, okay, I have to do this right now because if I don't, I'm not gonna be able to walk. I thought it would be a week, but then it was probably a month and a half. I had to use a cane. And then well, I was on crutches for like a month, and then I'd use a cane for like 6 weeks probably. And like I couldn't walk. Oh, also last year there's a Jumbo episode. It's like episode 4. And I'm like skating the stupid little school, and I'm like, oh my back, oh my neck, oh my whole body. And I like Andrew got like a clip on it, Caleb's got a clip on it, but it's like the school. It's like these perfect little silver down rails. Andrew's got like this clip where he skates like a bunch of like different colored little plastic boxes or whatever. It's like one of the first Jumbo episodes, but I went to go like fast slide this little 8-stair down rail, and I hit channel 1, stuck between my first and second wheel, and I just fell to my collarbone on my back and like flipped over. And it's the littlest rail, and I couldn't turn my head and I couldn't breathe. I had like a bruised, fractured collarbone. I had to go like get X-rays, all this shit. My discs were like compressed and slip in my back. I had to go to the chiropractor, like pop my shit back in, luckily I didn't like surgery. I couldn't breathe for like basically 2-3 weeks. I like couldn't walk for like 2 months. It was like basically it was like last February, and I couldn't skate again until about the end of May, maybe beginning of May was when I was able to skate again. So I was out for like 3-4 months or some shit. Like, and there's not even like really much of a clip. Cody might have it, but it's the wackest shit. It's like a little baby rail. Like I skated it from like the low side where like the stairs stick out a little farther on one side than they do the other. And I like just went to go do a fast slide, just warm it up and just pancaked on the ground. Now I'm scared to fast slide anything.
It's always stuff like that though. It's always like the little the amount of times I've like just like broken ribs or like fingers whatever, and I'm like, off this, really? Off this. Why?
Well, that's usually at like the skate park though, because like the skate park, like your guard is let down. You know what I mean? Because you're filming something like, okay, you're thinking about all the variables, the possibilities, so you're taking it seriously. But for me, it's usually like the skate park is usually where I get the most hurt. Usually I get hurt everywhere, but but like the skate park, I feel like for most of us is like, we were talking about this the other day at the DIY, like, yeah, because you're just fucking around. You know, it's the 17th time you tried this new thing you're trying to learn. And you're not really thinking about it. You're taking it as seriously as you would like something you would be when you're street skating. Next thing you know, you're on the ground with a broken wrist. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, true. Yeah.
Also, another reason I hate skate parks. So, yeah. Next one.
Oh, this is an easy one. Is Burley a pseudonym or just a perfect coincidence? Burley by nature. So yeah.
Perfect coincidence. Is Burley, Burley? I think it used to be spelled Leigh or something like that. I think I'm like
Burley. Fancy.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if it's like Irish or Scottish or what, but I'm like, I don't know what I am, American mutt. But yeah, it's Leigh. They named me Heath because my great grandpa loved Heath ice cream candy bars, but his name was Harley, so they almost named me Harley Burley. I think that was just a little too much.
Yeah, bit sing-songy.
Well, I mean, that's just Burley's hard enough, but Harley, it's like Harley Davidson, man. Like Harley Burley's still too much.
Yeah. Next one, Samuel Brownlee. He lives in.
Hi, dog.
Where's he? Oh. Well, he's from Scotland, but he lives.
He's from Scotland. Is he in San Antonio or Bernie? I can't remember.
San Antonio, near Bern. That's it. Bernie, near San Antonio.
It's pronounced Bernie. But yeah, shout out Sam. He came out and skated with us, my dog.
Right. What was the inspiration for getting into making DIY parks? Oh, well, you've kind of already answered this. So you were bored during COVID, but
well, that's not. Well, I didn't get into like the full. I got into how, but not initially why. You can go to a skate park that someone else built. That's great. It's a place for you to skate. That's fucking great. You can go to a street spot. Someone else still built that. It's someone else's shit. to have the satisfaction of whether it's by yourself or with your friends, to go out and create something out of nothing where you guys built it. It's your sanctuary. It's your little home away from home. It's like it's your place. It's yours. You made it. No one else did it. That's why that shit's special. And it's the memories you make with your friends while you're doing it. Because it's like, yeah, you can have a bunch of great memories skating street. You can have a bunch of memories skating in the park. All these skate memories are great. I do think there is something a little bit different about going and like literally doing hard labor. Like, and it's not easy. And like building boxes like with wood, like that's hard. Building ramps are hard. Anything beyond a box for you're building a skate park, that's hard. But like actually getting out there and mixing concrete and like getting covered in dust and you're dirty and you're gross, and especially in Texas, you're sweating your fucking ass off. Like, and then you get to go back 3-4 days later and hopefully someone hasn't destroyed it. Hopefully some dumb kid didn't come by and throw a rock into it, because you have to spend 3 days in complete anxiety. And I'll usually go back every day and check to make sure no one's fucked with it. But that first 24 hours before that concrete even starts to set, before it even starts to cure, you have this wave of just like, it's in the back of your head, like it fucks with you. Like you have to like worry about whether or not someone came by and ruined all your hard work, all your money, or other people's money if they were kind enough to donate. Like that's a really big thing to me. You know what I mean? Like, because it's yours. You did it with your friends, and no one can take that away from you. But for that first 24 hours, someone definitely can take it away from you. So like, I don't know, the whole thing is just like a different experience of skating that I feel like there's been a lot more rollerbladers that have done it. There's been a lot of rollerbladers who apparently like said, hey, I watched your videos, I tried it, you know, this is awesome. I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome that I could have inspired some other people to do that. There's also like in Barcelona, there's the Mimo Trash Park. Those dudes have already done it. I know like Asheville, there's some people, but there's not a lot of people in blading that do like DIY like concrete. Like I know Calkins has been kind of getting into it and some other people, but like that's very like skateboarding and BMX. Yeah. And that's something blading hasn't really gotten into. And I'm kind of happy that I've gotten into it because it's allowed me to like make memories in skating that I don't think it's an avenue very many of us have explored. And I highly suggest it because there's something different in doing something yourself and making shit with your friends and skating shit you built with your, you know, with your bare hands versus just going to the skate park.
Yeah. It's like a different form of satisfaction. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, God, someone's here. Good. 3 questions. Right. After your recent trip to Eindhoven and Barcelona and hometown Austin, where is your favorite place to skate? And where else in the world would you like to skate? So now that you've ventured out into the world, do you have a new favorite place, or is a favorite place still at home? And where do you want to go skate?
Dover, Ohio. Actually, I wasn't born in Texas. Moved to Texas when I was 8. I was born in Ohio. I'm from the same town as, I don't know if you know James Short, if you guys remember him. That's why he's the one who taught me how to toe roll. Something about all my family grew up in like steel mills and shit. And there's just something about just some shitty fucking Rust Belt spots. They're just dilapidated warehouses or steel mills. You know, sorry, someone's walking. That's the kind of shit I like, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. But, you know, other than that, you know, I'd rather go skate, you know, burn down building than Barcelona. No offense to Barcelona. I loved it. It's great. But, yeah, don't take me to a perfect spot. Steph and Brandon and I were talking about the same shit. Like, what the fuck are we going to do? Like, you know? Yeah. Also, I don't even want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not for me.
No, that's fair enough. Next, same person, next question. Friendships and connections the Jumbo crew have together, does that come from childhood friendships, school, college, or just through meeting at skate spots? So I guess they're asking how the crew got together, basically.
Yeah. All of them. So some of us have been friends a lot longer than others. So I was born in Ohio and I moved to a town called New Braunfels, which is basically right between San Antonio and Austin. Austin and San Antonio are about an hour and a half apart, and New Braunfels is right in the middle. The town over from that is called Seguin, and that town is where Caleb Benavides and Mick is from, some other buddies. But you wouldn't know him from Jumbo, I guess. And then there's another town called Tyler, which is about 4 or 5 hours northeast. That's where Cody Sanders is from, TK, Andrew Broom, and some of the guys that live up in Denver now. Fugi, they're all from Tyler. So Caleb, me and Mick knew each other like in high school. They knew each other since they were like little kids. I met Caleb when I was probably 14, so probably 20 something years ago. I've known Caleb and Mick the longest. Then, just how skating is. You end up knowing everybody, especially in Texas. It's like the biggest state besides Alaska, and like somehow we're probably one of the more closer knit, states. But probably all the Tyler guys like Cody and them, I ended up meeting them shortly after I met like Aunt Medina and stuff. I probably went like high school age, met Mick and Caleb, and then probably shortly after high school, like college years, I met like Medina and those guys. And then shortly after that, like Cody and Andrew and all those other dudes. And then, some of these people, I've known forever, and some of these people, I just met like last year. So you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that.
Okay. That is it. And how long have we been? We've been going for over 2 hours. So
oh my God.
I think we've made a good run at it. And I can't believe you've only had 2 beers in that time. That's quite.
But, I'm really into skating, and I think skating something's like really important, and I think you should really take it fucking really seriously. Like, I think it's really important, and you should just really take it seriously. Like, anytime you go skating, you should just like really take it really seriously and just like go skate with your fucking friends, man. Like, cause fuck, like, what else are you gonna do, man? Like, thanks for having me on, man. That was a blast. What a pleasure.
It's so disturbing how like young you look without a mustache. It's like basically
What are you talking about?
You've literally just shaved 10 years off your face.
What do you mean?
I've no idea, man.
Dude, it's fine, dude. It's fine. It's okay. Just it's
fine.
Does
it go back on?
I mean, yeah, it could, but hey, I just want to give it up. Thanks for everybody come out watching and just oh shit. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh my God, you guys are so much. Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
I'm liking this new and improved young Heath. It's this.
Oh, I got hammers, dude. Like, I'm like pro or whatever the fuck, right?
This is you need to be more. You'll be more aerodynamic now. I like it.
But then I'm a professional skater. I don't know what to tell you.
Right, I've taken up enough of your time, and
hey, same. All right, love you, buddy.
As always, an absolute joy to speak to you, and hopefully see you sooner rather than later. Also, if you get this comp organized, I might need to look into what these flight prices are looking like.
Happy to have you. The moment I know, you'll know.
Okay.
All right. Well, happy trails.
Speak soon.
Bye. See you.
Just want to take a moment to give a massive shout out to my Patreon supporters. They're listed on the screen now. If you want to join the Wheel Scene Patreon, you can do so for as little as £3 a month. There are a ton of behind the scenes photos, videos, outtakes, B-roll, all sorts of stuff that isn't on the YouTube channel. So if you want to support the Wheel Scene YouTube channel, that's the best way to do it.